Go. Hey girl, you know you drive me crazy. Won't look at the rhythm in my head. I forget the rest of the words now. I feel it's going down. Foster, take over.
I don't know the words to the
Okay.
song, but I got the beat, so I'm gonna keep going.
I was trying to get Cavell over here, and then Dan kept yelling at me. He's like, "Get out of here and go start the stream." So here I am. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And everyone go check out Star Helix, Kyle Wilson, and Veve Vault on YouTube, and at Not Star Helix, and at Hey David Don on the Twitter. So, Foster, my good man, how are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing all right. So news happens every day, and what
news happens every hour. I can't keep up anymore. It's crazy.
Oh, congrats on 3,000 Twitter followers, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And so somebody, I don't know if he's trolling, but somebody, Crypto Rickentop said, remember, David, you said there's a new NFT of something that we drink daily. What if it's an NFT that allows you to connect to a vending machine and buy drinks using gems? And he put the thing called like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
And then David's like, interesting. Please let me look into this and get back to you.
Oh, wow. As if he just straight up responded to it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Alex says, you got you'd. I guess that's the thing that happens when the team asks him for something like, oh, let me look at that and get back to you. So at DesignerCon, they was like, oh, you got you'd.
Yo, I guess that's actually, honestly, like, I think people, like the concept of NFTs, right? And I've talked about it in a couple of my videos, and I know like we've discussed it before, but like people just get so like yucky when they hear the word NFT. You know what I mean? Like they just assume Cavell in the house.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Had to drop a video real quick.
Oh my god,
of course,
the legend. Well, like we said, it's not a true Cavell video until you're in a live reacting to your live. So Henry said that last stream. I thought
Meta AF.
But yeah, I just feel like NFTs, like it's a yucky word. You know what I mean? Like obviously in crypto, it's not yucky. Everyone knows what it is. But you talk about NFTs and people are like, nah, like that's not a thing. That's not like whatever. So I think when you start to see the real world utility that's going to come from all of the licenses that Veve and Ecomi are putting together, I think that's really when you're going to start to see people accept the concept of NFTs as it becomes more and more mainstream. And just as an example, and of course, this is in no way, shape, or form a confirmation, but if we were to hypothetically have Coca-Cola as a partnership, being able to have your NFT and it give you, a discount, or it's redeemable for X at like a movie or whatever, like that's when, that's when it's not just an image on a computer screen or on a phone. You know what I mean? Like that real world utility is when people really start to accept and adopt these products. So
yeah, and that's good for Coke too, because if you like, I don't know if you're like me, like if I have something, even if I don't want it, or I'm still gonna use it. Like, well, I paid for it. I don't drink Coke anymore. I don't really drink soda, but if I have that NFT that gives me like this, oh, might as well get some root beer, put some vodka in there. Hey, like
some vodka like that.
Well, I can't have regular root beer. That's not like you gotta have an adult drink. Dan Shaw was like, I got 3 people have never heard of an NFT today to try the drop. They didn't get it, but are still hooked. If that doesn't scream an addicting product, I don't know what is. The biggest thing that I really didn't know about it until this weekend, that I am not the only cheap person out there. I was rooming with Taps, and he wants to show me like he's like, oh hey, I have a song for you on YouTube. He's like, okay, and I'm waiting for the song to play. I was like, Taps, is that an ad? And it's like, you don't pay like the $12 a month for YouTube Premium? And he's like, listen, man, I'm cheap. I was like, didn't you just tell me before you spent like $4,000 on these Disney NFTs? Like, and you can't pay $12 a month. So this is how crazy this is. Someone like me and Tap, that literally got a bunch of rolls like for $5. Buying thousands of dollars of NFTs. Taps that won't spend $12 a month, so he doesn't have to play ads. He's buying thousands of dollars of NFTs. So yeah, this is insane.
Can I actually tell you why I got YouTube Premium? And this is like dead ass. Like I'm not just saying it because he's in the literally Cavell is the reason that I got YouTube Premium. Because like, dude, like I was trying to digest all of his content, and it's one of those things like like we know, right? Like not everyone sits at a computer and watches YouTube content, right? Like you listen to it in the background, whatever. And like I'd be driving to work or I'd be like at work trying to listen to videos. And like every like 4 minutes I'd have to stop and like hit the skip like for the, and I was like, nah, I ain't about that life. So I was like, yo, it's an investment. So I forked up the $12 to get YouTube Premium, and now it's just Gucci 1.5x. Buzz through it all.
So wait, Cavell, I'm not sure what Dan's referencing. What did you say about Elsa?
I said Elsa was definitely underrated. What, did she go up or something? I said she's one of the most valuable.
Dude, she's like 1.1 now, I think.
She's like 1.199. Like I saw it for 1.1. I was like, oh, I can get $100 cheaper. No, it's $11.99. Like, oh.
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know she was going up. Like, I know that she's the most popular of all the ones that's been dropped. But yeah, this Disney one, the Walton Mickey, that's going crazy. That's already passed up the Secret Rare Spider-Man.
Oh, is it? Wait, what are they both at right now?
I think isn't that like 20K? It's somewhere around there. Like,
no, there's no way like, Walt's at 20K. Are you serious?
Between Walt and it was between 16 and 20. It was close. I know it had passed. Let me see.
Spider-Man's at 19.9. Oh my god.
It went up. Spider-Man went up.
Spider-Man's at 19.9.
Wow.
So there's So there's only really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that need to be sold to hit a $30,000 one. And then I don't even know. Yeah, it's insane.
It hurts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It hurts. It hurts, man.
So I wanted your guys' opinion. So I was talking to, I think it was Granola Warfare this weekend about, and we were talking with who's the guy with the mask? He had like a bird costume on this week. The glasses, he got a beard. He like never shows his face.
Is it Dozer?
I don't think that was Dozer.
Sorry, where did it happen?
It was at Designer Con. Anyway,
okay.
He was saying that, hey, look at, he's talking about R2-D2 specifically, and R2-D2 was at like 1,600 at that point. He's at like 2,100 now.
Yeah.
Or 20. I actually, I'll tell you.
Dan actually just said live in chat, R2 over 2,400 and C3PO is 1,300.
Oh, did the partner statue go down, or was I tripping looking at something else earlier? Did it drop? I thought
it went up. I put out a tweet this morning, and it went from like 10K to 14K in like 5 minutes, and then it started to work its way back down. And I think last time I saw it, it was between 11 and 12K.
Okay, so I have this. All right, I have this really. Anyway, he was saying that. What is that for Walt?
I still have my Spider-Man. Someone asked me if I still have it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So I got mine on sale right now. Let me see what it's for.
What's that?
1 million.
I mean, it's there.
Hey man, one day, you never know. You're gonna wake up and your gem balance is gonna look a little bigger than what you're used to seeing.
Hey, I'm ready for that day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, I have this. He said that R2-D2, and again, this is when it was at 1,600, is overvalued, and actually a lot of the Disney stuff was overvalued because he was talking about whale manipulation. And I was like, listen, I think that most times, if it was like and whatever set, you'd probably be right. But because it's Disney Golden Moments, first appearance of all of these guys, which they're not like side characters. I think the only one might have been the Pizza Planet truck, which that was not really like everyone's favorite, but it was a what do you call it? They're all just actual main characters. Like Elsa's not the side character. You know, Iron Man's not a side character. Do you guys think that even with that, even though it's still gone up, there still might be some whale manipulation in this, or do you think that the people won't let the whales manipulate because they buy as soon as they get money?
Specifically for Golden Moments?
Yes.
I mean, I think we would be naive to say that there's never any whale manipulation that goes on. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just fact. In any form of investment, you're going to have people that look for every opportunity they can to make money. And I mean, that's what investing is, right? So I very much think that there is likely people that are holding multiple of the collectibles that, you know, will want the floor to go up, and then they can sell down into it and then buy back at a lower. I mean, we've seen that with the OMI token for months, right? But at the end of the day, I think what people need to recognize, and at least what I believe, is that the inherent value in what some of these collectibles hold, whether it be, you know, the Star Wars, the Elsa, or of course the Walt statue, is that it really doesn't matter what price they're selling for right now, because it's going to consistently climb. And we've already seen that. I mean, the day that it came out, it was $3,000. And I was like, okay, you know, are we going to see it go lower? No. Okay. No, it jumped up to 6. Okay. Now it's at 6. Are we going to see it go back down? Okay. Now it's pushing 10. And then we went from 10 to 14, and now we're consolidating a little bit again. It's blue chip, and it's blue chip for a reason,
apparently
right?
It was at 17. So people are already willing to pay close to 20 grand for it, down to 11 now. But I just looked, I had to fact check this because sometimes people troll. The Todd's at 2,800 right now.
I saw that in the chat. I was just looking that up. I was like, yo, someone's lolling right
actually
now.
28.98. But yeah, that was ridiculous.
Honestly, it's interesting that you see Disney. I think what Disney is doing is it's changing people's perspective about what's valuable. Because before it was all about mint numbers and how many editions and things like that. But now people are looking at these Disney collectibles for what they're worth, the true value. And now people are starting to put a little bit more respect on Todd. And that's actually a shift that I didn't expect. And I think it is something that's definitely needed, because this Disney piece, like Walt Disney, I was just talking about it in one of my videos. I don't remember which one myself, but it was like the Walt and Mickey piece. That's historical. Like that is insane, because obviously Disney is named after Walt Disney, and then you have Mickey Mouse, who is literally the face of Disney. So when it comes down to Disney and what NFTs is going to do to the world, this is a historic piece that I believe could definitely be worth millions. If you look at the most valuable collectible right now for Mickey Mouse, it's over 3 million. So to think that the first NFT, especially the impact that I think NFT is going to have on the world, I think it's going to impact the real estate market, like buying vehicles, buying land, buying like events, anything that requires a contract, like all of this stuff. And NFTs is going to impact all of this stuff. So for Disney to make this move and for Veve to be involved in that, this piece is going to go crazy. And I think that Veve is going to get a lot of credibility from this move that they made.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think you have I'm talking to some guy tomorrow, Matt Young. He's really big in real estate, and I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow about that, how this is going to affect. And Hags comes in every now and then, and you know, he says that all these you know, the deeds on everything is going to be NFTs. But how much value will an autographed NFT bring to the space? And you could do it 2 different ways. I think the main way would just be, let's say if Cavell just gets really huge and he gets like 1 million subscribers, and if I send him a Todd McFarlane Batman and he sends it back, it was proven on the blockchain that it once had his ownership. The other one, I think I got really lucky this weekend where Lu Chu, the artist of the Ghost Bears, he digitally signed one for but he didn't have the app, so they took like a screen recording or like a screenshot, and he signed it with his finger. So I don't know how much value that would have, because that's not. You could maybe make an NFT of that, because I have it. Like he signed, I have it on film. So, how much do you guys think autographed NFTs, and which way do you think will be the best?
Yeah, so I think if the NFT itself is already released autographed, then I think the price or value of it is already priced into it, right? Like whatever people are willing to pay for it is what people are willing to pay for it. But I think where it gets interesting, and to your point, is when people start getting collectibles that they already own signed, whether it's, you know, they go to a Comic-Con and they get it signed by the artist, or like you said, they transfer. As a perfect example, you know, Andre Jick, who, you know, I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with a little bit over the past little while. Like if he sends me one of his collectibles or something, and then it was previously owned by him and it's minted on the blockchain, it can prove that might carry weight. You know, we get Pokemon and Logan Paul sends out, you know, some of the Pokemon that he gets as what, like that likely carries more weight to it. But once again, that in and of itself, I think is a niche to collecting, right? Like I don't know that if I was in the market, I would pay more money just because a collectible was signed versus not signed. Like it would have to resonate with me, or I would have to know that I could flip it for more value. Otherwise, to me, it's just artificially inflating the price. But I'm not sure where you guys kind of sit on that.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on who signs it. Like, because a YouTuber can fall off at any point in time and then it's worthless. So I mean, I wouldn't, like, a YouTuber signature is different. Now, if like, let's say Walt Disney himself was able to sign something like that, that would be invaluable. Right. So you get his real signature and you put it on an NFT, somebody from his estate or whatever. Like if that goes on an NFT, that I can see that boosting the value for sure. And then that would actually be a one of one if they only did that once. So that would bring insane value. So it really just depends on the scenario. But I think that certain signatures does hold a lot of weight, but it has to be very, very important signatures. Like Iron Man. If what's his name? The guy who plays Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. If he signs it, that would be sick. Like I would want that. So and I know a lot of other people would as well. So his signature I feel like would hold some weight as well. So it just depends on who signs it.
Yeah, I would think that it also, like, in Pokemon, you have this one guy, Mitsuhiro Arita, who went on and he drew the original Charizard, like the Charizard that everyone knows from base set. But the thing is, his signature only really whatever card it's on, it only doubles the value usually. Whereas this guy Ken Sugimori, he almost never signs anything. So his signature on anything, you add a 0 to it. So in that aspect is because of how rare it is. Mitsuhiro Arita, he'll sign anything you put in front of him. But Ken Sugimori that did Blastoise, that does I think he did Blaine's Charizard in Gym Challenge set. Actually, he did Blaine's Arcanine too, Ken Sugimori, but he doesn't really sign anything. I think it's because he's got, even for family, I don't think he does. So that's something where if this becomes really big, and let's say you have an artist that'll sign anything, you'll go on and say, like, maybe it only increases it by 1.5 or whatever. But if you have an artist that, let's say, never signs it or God forbid dies, that signature is going to be worth a heck of a lot more. So that's my thing on it. I miss you too, Taps. What else we got here? There's so many people. Also got asked.
What's good, y'all? Said sign my Kripken. I got you, Taps.
If Walt's price bombs, are you going to sell it like you'd?
The worst part is like this isn't even on my channel, so it's not even like I get the revenue for it. And it's like, okay, whatever. Like, you got me. It's cool. Like, whatever.
He super chatted it to make sure you'd see it. So you all right. For me, what is something that you would sell for Omi? Is it something that you have now? Both you guys, would you sell anything for Omi right now, or do you think like
my entire collection?
Yeah, I was gonna say for the right amount of Omi, I would sell my entire collection. So like, if we were actually having that conversation, like I would definitely like sell like a Walt or any of the other Disney moments, even if it meant taking a short term, loss in the sense that like it goes up more than what Omi is relative, because I know Omi long term is just going to be worth abundantly more than pretty much any collectible that's on the app. Like as a perfect example, I could buy a Walt right now for, let's call it 10 grand. So we'll say roughly 1.5 million Omi. If Omi goes to $1, that's $1.5 million. Is Walt ever going to go to $1.5 million? I mean, maybe if I got the 41 or something like that, maybe, but I'm not getting that for 10 grand now. Right. So that is the only time I think I would do something like that. But thank you, Michael Anderson, for the reminder. I appreciate it.
So Cavell's got some interesting merch. I like things that look a little silly. He's got a little puffball in one of his hats. I want that. I want to play with it. If I was a cat. So yeah, thank you, Zachar, for that super chat. Do you guys feel like, I feel weird sometimes where but I put my money where my mouth is. That's like, I think him is really, or like a few months ago, I said him was really undervalued because Donnie was so big and him was like down here still. Donnie was at like 30, 50 grand and him's at like 3 grand, 2,500. So I bought 3 of them. And as they rose, I was like, okay, like these are. I sold them for Omi because at the time, like a month later, I thought that they were, Omi would reach 10x before him would 10x. So I sold 2 of them. I still have 1 left. Do you guys feel weird about, because you're not shilling your own stuff, like you're saying what you think, and then you go out and buy it, put your money where your mouth is, or do we have to be more careful?
I mean, I think it's important to discuss anything in the context of like I hope that anyone recognizes, at least for me, like I'm not in a position to give financial advice. And I think it's fairly obvious that given the previous history that I have with collectibles, that I don't make the best decisions when it comes to whether or not to hold collectibles. So I think for me, what I generally try and do, and what you'll see me doing on Twitter is I'll put out observations based on community feedback, and I'll do polls to gauge community sentiment. But I'm never going to tell you like even today, I put out a tweet earlier today and said, Spider-Man's up at this price, Walt's up at this price, Todd's up at this price. Basically, these are blue chips from what I've seen from everyone in the community. There's a reason that Andre Jick owns them, right? Because he's a responsible investor. He doesn't invest in, hey, I'm going to buy this one random decon thing because I think it's going to 100x. Like he invests in things that he believes in. So like, that's my observation, right? So I'm making an observation, hey, you should look into this yourself. And, that's why my tweets will say, like, do your own research, not financial advice, whatever. But at the end of the day, I agree that we do have to be careful, because I do think to an extent that people will like, and not to say that I have some crazy influence in the community or something, but if I came out and said, you need to buy this collectible, I am confident that at least one person in the community would buy the collectible, even if it was just one person, right? And at that point, you're influencing people. So you do definitely need to be careful. And I think it's that balance between those. And I have another thought, but I want to hear Cavell's thoughts first kind of on that.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same. I don't try to influence anyone's. I don't specifically tell anybody, go buy this, go buy that, or anything like that. I do point out the facts that I look at, that I research, that influences my decisions. Like with the whole Elsa thing, I'm like, I did the research. This looks crazy. Like Elsa is crazy more valuable or more sought after than anything else that has been dropped. So when you look at things like that, I do have to point it out and say, yo, check this out. This is some information that I found. Like it looks compelling to me, and it's going to make me make this decision. But I know that there's people who do make decisions based off of like some of the things that we do or things like that. But I always say people need to do their own research and really, really have your own reasoning and logic behind what you do, because that's the only way you're going to have conviction. Like when the price of Omi dips down and things like that, the reason that we don't get nervous or scared or sell or anything like that is because we understand what we're getting into before we make this investment, because we've done our research already. So the only way you're going to feel good about the decisions that you make is if you understand completely why you're making them. You just can't make a decision because, oh, he's making a decision, I like him. You're not going to stand by that. What about when it gets hard? Do you still stand by that decision? Like sometimes I make bad decisions, and I mean, I just have to own it. I made that decision. I know why I made that decision, but the information or my facts didn't stand, and it's just like I'm willing to accept that because I did the research and I just got it wrong. So you have to be able to do the same thing when you're an investor, and yeah. So I feel like, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So Michael Burns helps me bring up to a point. Says, can we just get shinies when Pokemon come, please? No confirmation we have it, but if they do, and actually, so I was going to bring this up on stream tomorrow, but I'll do it now just because it fits in. I had two Ironmans. I sold one. Only had one R2D2, and I just sold that. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I think, and Taps had a video on this recently, that I think that they announced Pokemon in February or Pokemon Day or close to that.
Right.
But if they don't and they do it earlier, like I didn't expect them to do Disney this early, but if they do decide to do it like the end of this month or early next month, and we don't have Omi to NFT yet and Omi hasn't mooned yet, I want to be prepared. So I just sold like a couple $1,000s worth of stuff. Because I know that there's 3 brothers that I know that I brought in from the Pokemon world that are big in the Pokemon collectors as well. Collectors, and I don't think this is something that anyone's really talked about, they normally don't just buy one of each thing. They buy multiple. Like the guy that one of the brothers, he has 8 Elsas, and he says just I like it, and that's just what they do. People that maybe they like Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, but for me, Venus, Bulbasaur going to Venusaur is my first one, so I want to stack up on Venusaurs. I might have one Charizard and one Blastoise, but when it comes to Pokemon, at least the collectors of them, people are going to get multiple because that's just what they do. I don't think we've really seen it in comics yet. I think the Comic Way was talking about that. Like there's so few people that are in physical comics that are in this right now. What are some other franchises or things that you guys are familiar with that you think would be similar to that? Like, oh, there's like less than 1% of people in this that are in this. Like
of a license that we currently already have on the platform, or of a license that we would acquire. And
sure, yeah, either or.
I think it's going to be very interesting because we know that Veve has different fandoms that they're pursuing, like overall fandoms. So like we know that, anime is something that they're exploring, and we don't really have very much, dedicated anime. We know that, vehicles are a thing. We have a couple vehicles, but we know they have General Motors as an example, like those types of vehicles, and we haven't seen any of those. I think it's going to be interesting to see the non-traditional forms of licensing move into this space and see how it's adopted. Like as a perfect example, even the NFLPA as an example, it's not illogical to assume that you would collect the fandom of your favorite sports team, right? Like Cavell's wearing a hat right now. It could very easily be, anything, Chicago, whatever, like it could be anything, right? Like, because it makes sense. But I don't think that I would ever look at his hat and say like, oh, wow, you have a General Motors hat on. Cool. It's not like people drive vehicles and they collect classic cars. And well, you know what? I guess people do collect replica models of small cars, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, that cars are definitely one of them. What about you, Bill?
I'm interested in like the car. Like when it comes down to the car thing, for me, I'm interested in actually. I want to know how detailed they're going to be with the development of the cars. Is it just going to be the cars like the regular models that's out right now, or are they going to have like all the pieces of the car? And can you buy all of this? Like, can you upgrade your car? Not just the color, but performance. Or like, I'm interested, I guess, in more so in the stuff that leads to the gaming side of things, because I want to wager Omi in races. Like, I want to race my car against somebody for Omi. Like that's what I want to do. Like, if they have that, it's going to be crazy. Like. So yeah, that's the type of stuff that I'm interested in, and I probably would have a collection of different types of cars at that point, where that's something I would see. But I guess also like maybe like anime for me, it would have to be probably like anime, like something like Naruto, because I would definitely have multiple Itachis, because I would have one because I just want to keep, and then one because I know he's going to be valuable. Because yeah.
So there was a space that was going on. I think it's still going on. It was right before this. Some guy named Skeeter leaked that there is obviously we have a awesome comic drop on Friday, but there's going to be a premium Marvel drop on Saturday. And I think premium, is going to be like something that's like a secret rare, would be like a Spider-Man or Captain America, something that's $400. And also saying that he said it was a mutant. Didn't say specifically X-Men, just said a mutant. So, I mean, it could be something with Wanda, like from WandaVision, because she's about to be in the Doctor Strange movie, or it could be a mutant that could come out on a, maybe in Spider-Man, maybe he sees a mutant, that's going to be coming out next month in his movie. I don't know. What do you guys think it's going to be?
I mean, if it's like, what if it's like Wolverine or something? That would be sick.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that, and then I saw Elvis comment that in the chat as well. Wolverine statue incoming. I definitely think, like I see. Here's the thing: like I'm not up to date on on everything that's happening in, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I'm not up to date with all of the releases and everything that they're doing. Like that's never been a focus of my investment. And I don't know if you can think of any financial decisions that I've made related to that prove that point recently, but I don't keep up with characters and what kind of stuff's going on with that. I'm trying to more so now, but it's yeah, I think any X-Men's or anything would be pretty dope. But I don't know if I'm in the position where I guess I would, just because I know it'd be valuable again. But like, how many more characters can they release at $400 that require the same value as a Spider-Man or a Captain America?
I think it depends on the utility. Because what if
also true?
Yeah, what if they like they have this whole little X-Men, like, you know, where they live, that compound or whatever that they live on? What if there's that in the VeVeverse, and having an X-Men is what grants you access to that? And then they have that little ship like that the X-Men use, and it's similar to like the USS Enterprise or the one from Star Wars, where these ships all come with utility and stuff. Like if these are a critical part in the VeVeverse experience, this is how they all maintain their value, and even some boost in value depending on the experience in each location.
That's a very good point.
Oh God, I think as far as the other ones, it's going to be maybe like a Wolverine or a Thor. Because I mean, Thor, Wolverine, there's so many of them. You know, you have Berserker Wolverine, you have Old Man Logan, you have normal Wolverine, you have Wolverine where he was in the like a dark version of the X-Men with Deadpool. And then for Thor, you've got young Thor, you've got old Thor, you've got party Thor, in an alternate universe. You have thick Thor from the Avengers. So they could do whichever they want with those. And we also got where's he at? Wow, there's so many comments here. Do you guys consider Da Vinci Pride blue chip?
See, here's this is a great example of a conversation that we just had, which is how do you tote the line between being a quote unquote influencer and, you know, because I don't have one. I'm gonna come right out and say I don't have one. So could I be biased in that regard? Possibly. But what I will say is I think the concern about Pride, and I don't even want to call it a concern, but I've always wondered what the true value of it was, because, interesting. I've always been curious because we know that a certain whale in the community was very vocal about collecting them, like very vocal, like multiple comments. I don't know. I heard that he had sold them, so I don't know if he still holds them or not. And once again, this isn't to slander this individual or anything like that. It's not the intention of it. But I've always wondered with collectibles like that, when you get hype from certain members in the community and then people FOMO into them, what is a true value? And I don't think you're able to gauge that on its own versus, as a perfect example, the Spidey or a Walt, or, I mean, even a Todd. Like, you see the value that they hold regardless of the additions or anything. So it's just hard to know with Pride. I think it's a beautiful piece, and I do regret not purchasing it regardless of what price it goes to. But to call it blue chip, I don't know. I'd like to think so, but I truly don't know.
I would say like the same. I would say, actually, my opinion on it is that we don't have the audience here who will put that at the value that it's supposed to be at. I will say, when you think of Da Vinci and brands like this, I'm not shocked to see people walking in buying $20,000, $100,000 bags and stuff like that. So that is that community. So for this to be for this to be that type of for this to be something that represents that community and the people who already buy this high end stuff all the time, I would assume that it would have a great amount of value. But I mean, they would have to know if they think that it's valuable. And I don't have no reason to believe that they wouldn't find NFTs valuable once the world transitions to the point where NFTs is actually a common thing and you have to have one, which, to be fair, it is. It's slowly starting to do that. So I think that it will be at some point. And I think that those are really good pieces to have in the future. But who knows when those people are going to get on this app? You never know.
Now, I don't have one, but the guy that helped get it on there, the Art Patron guy, who had also just signed a few months ago a $50 million deal with Veve, is going to bring more of those. And I think including our 50 million, he had an extra $250 million worth of NFTs just recently today. So he's very, very big, and a lot of his stuff is coming to Veve. So
okay, I want to, because I'm seeing some comments in the comment section here, and I want to ask you guys a question, because I want to shift the focus for a second, because it relates to what we were talking about previously. When you think about blue chip collectibles, comic books, whatever, and we've talked about this privately off stream, but I think it's important to have the conversation with everyone that's watching right now. What are your guys' opinions on edition size and how it pertains to collectible value? Because I'm seeing a lot of people make comments in general, not just in the chat or anything, but, you know, well, this has to be more valuable than this because it has this many editions. And I'll be very vocal and honest about it to start off. And I got in trouble with this with Dan Schwabel the other day. Not the Bart and Homer skateboard, but the skateboard, I think it was Lincoln Design Co. that came out over Decon.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely gorgeous. 160 editions that were released to the public out of 250 minted. And it was going for like $15,000 at one point. You will never catch me in a million years spending anywhere close to $15,000 for that piece. And not to say that's not a beautiful piece. It is. But what does that piece represent other than the fact that it has 160 editions? And that's how I look at it. And maybe I'm completely, out of base there, but I'm curious because, like, I look at Walt, which at the time you probably could have bought 2, maybe even 3 Walts for the same price as the skateboard. Like, to me, I don't care that Walt has 4,200 editions. I still believe one day it's going to go to $100,000 because I understand the fan base and the value that it brings to every collector. You know how awesome it will be for everyone that owns land in the VeVeverse to have that as their entrance piece by their fountain to their mansion going into their land. People that have a lot of money will spend so much money on that. I don't see anyone going in and being like, hey, I'm going to buy this, skateboard shop that's, unique to LA that no one's ever heard of. That's cool, but that doesn't have that following. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are on mint size versus, possible IP versus, whatever.
I agree. I agree. I think that it's definitely, it's definitely comes down to the IP and how important the piece is. I think that this community puts way too much emphasis on like scarcity and edition sizes and things like that, and even rarity. Like, that doesn't matter at all. When you see a common piece, like these common Disney pieces that dropped, I didn't care that they were common because I know what this piece is. And I think that for so long, the community has been in this mindset where they've been focusing on the wrong things when this is like that's Elsa that just dropped. Like, regardless of what the tag says, if it's common, no matter what, like that's Elsa. Like, when you look at these collectibles, I feel like edition sizes are going to matter a lot less, because you're going to have, what they do is, the only way that they're going to make these things valuable is to make them scarce. Because if you have a choice, if they make them the same edition size as Disney, no one's going to buy it. So you have to make these very, very scarce, because now it has some type of value. But they're going to have so many different collectibles on Veve. This stuff is going to start becoming more and more worthless. And what's going to hold strong is the IP. It's going to be stuff like these pieces and stuff that impacts people's childhoods, stuff that you remember, because the brand is just that powerful. And it's nothing against like any of the amazing artists that they're working with. It's so many stuff I would have never discovered if I didn't see Veve. This work is amazing. But for these price points that they're being charged for, no, I think that a lot of this stuff is going to stay under or around the $1,000 range. That's not IP stuff. And a lot of the stuff, even with higher editions, is going to be the stuff that we see worth thousands and things like that. So I just don't want people to get burned, is really what it boils down to. And of course, and I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying Cavell's right. Obviously you guys have your own opinion. Invest in what you like, right? Like at the end of the day, collecting is not just about making money. If you want to buy something because you love it and you're fine with whatever price tag that you paid for it, that's totally fine. But I'm very much coming in this from an investor mentality, maybe until I make enough money that I don't need to worry about buying things just to increase in value. I'm just concerned that, and not to say that the decon drops weren't cool or anything like that, but
I'm just concerned that a lot of people are looking at a lot of these 888 edition drops, and some of them have taken on a life of their own. That extra large drop that, you know, people are calling it the VAYC, the VV8 Club or whatever. Like, I think that's cool. Like, I think that that's awesome, and I almost FOMO'd into one because of that. And I'm not picking on the skateboard. Like, I know people collect skateboards, and I think that that's awesome. Once again, that's just one example that comes to mind. I think another example that comes to mind is the comic book that dropped today. Like, it's not worth anything in real life, but people love it. Like, Randy loves it. I know Randy loves it, and he wanted to buy one because
the whole stream.
Yeah, because he loves it, and that's perfectly fine. I want to get that message across so that when you hear people talking about it, and you hear them talking about the things that they like, don't equate the fact that someone likes something to the fact that it's valuable. Take that with, okay, they enjoy it, and it's perfectly fine to enjoy your fandom. But if you're going to message me or whatever and say, hey, do you think that this is going to go up in value? Is this a good investment? Just know that the answer that I'm always going to give you is go with the IP that people recognize that the fandom is going to come for. Marvel has 54 million followers on Twitter. I don't know how much Lincoln Design Co. has. Maybe they have a lot. I don't, but I'm just saying, be mindful that you need to balance the fandom with what the actual amount is that people are willing to pay for. Is what
that's exactly my approach too. I stick with safer bets when it comes down to my investment strategy as well. It's like the stuff that you can't go wrong with. Granted, I don't know everything. I'm not a collector. I don't come from this world. So like there's paintings and stuff that goes for millions and millions of dollars that look like somebody just scribbled on the board to me, but it's like that stuff sells and people can see beauty and stuff like that. I don't see the same thing, but I find my best investments for me is going to be things where everyone can see the beauty in it. Everyone can see a gold Iron Man. You know this. Everyone can see this Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse. Everyone sees that. Like I wouldn't invest in something that's going to take a niche eye to spot how valuable it is and something like it's just not enough. It's not a big enough pool of people for me to feel like my investment is safe. I have to luck up on finding that one person who's going to spend X amount of dollars. Or I can just hold the Mickey Mouse and get 20,000 a few weeks from now or something. Like, come on, now. It's a no-brainer for me.
So I usually relate everything back to Pokemon, and when we were talking about there's a big difference between rarity and scarcity. Just because something is, let's say, like rare doesn't mean like it's scarce. Maybe people don't like it, and they just there's just a bunch of them out there. But something that is, let's say, printed a lot more, like I'll say Dark Charizard from the Team Rocket set was printed into oblivion. It was printed like 4 or 5 times as much as Blaine's Charizard, but they would always be around neck and neck. Because even though that I like Blaine's Charizard more, and it had like 1/4 of the editions, at least for first edition print run, that the Dark Charizard did, people just liked that it was a rocket Charizard. It evolved early. It was just badass. It was cool. So just going back to what we were saying with the how many editions does that matter? I think it does to a point, but at some point people are just going to take over and be like, no, this is just cool. It's just cooler. So I do agree with you with that. And what people are saying here, yeah, pride is that's the whole movement. There's the whole loud minority that would love that. Yep. And I wish I would have got one when it was like 1,400, and I was like, nah, it's too expensive. And then just.
And it's a perfect example, like, and I've told this story before, but when I went for that drop, I went for the Amelia Earhart because Pride had more editions, and I just automatically equated the fact that the item with less editions would be worth more because it's more scarce. And I think, we've already pointed that out so perfectly that that's just simply not the case. We saw what happened to Amelia versus Pride. And then outside of Amelia and Pride and Givenchy to just the rest of it, it's just important for people to recognize that, like I think it was Kate said, if they drop 100,000 Pokemons, that's going to get sold out, and they're still going to be worth more than a lot of the items that are on VV right now that have 5,000 editions because it's Pokemon. Like it's just. So.
I will ape into that so hard. Like I said, if they announce Pokemon and it's for like December, my entire gem thing will be gone. If they announce it in February and let's say Omi's at like 8 cents by that point, I will put 1% of my net worth into the Pokemon NFTs, which is a lot. So I'm really hoping they wait until February. But just in case, I'm gonna go hard. Yeah, are you guys having a not like a crisis, but now that there's a lot more product, I feel like a liver of an alcoholic, like juggling too many drinks. I feel like there's too many NFTs that I don't know what to go for anymore. But we do have. Oh, I can't kick him from studio. Wait. Okay. Sorry, Pags is here. I'll get him on in a second. Hey. So, Mr. Pags, we were going over if you have any. Are you having like a crisis of you don't know what to collect now? Are you collecting what you like? Are you collecting just what you think will go up in value? What are you thinking?
Guys, what's going on?
Oh, did you not hear anything?
I don't think you're a word.
I walked right into a question.
How you doing, man?
That's this rapid fire, man. You got to just be ready. You just gotta be ready.
Listen, before we get going, I have to say something. Cavell.
What's up, bro?
I got to connect you with my brother-in-law. His resource right now out the gate wants to order a bunch of merch. Like, nice order.
Okay, he wants to order a bunch of merch. Okay,
I gotta get that out of the way right away because I need you to, if you could DM me real quick with any kind of link. I'll connect you guys so I don't have to be like the escrow agent in between you guys, and you guys can go direct. He can order whatever he's got to order through you, hats, shirts. What it's apparently a bunch of stuff, dude. So real cool.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
Let's go.
I'll hit you up with my contact right now.
All right, because Cavell, you do that. Henry, is that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's up, bro?
How's it going, man? Good to see you. The comic that's coming out on Friday. I know you're known as the low mint master in some circles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Go Collect says that a 9.6 on a CG, or I'm sorry, a 9.6 is the highest grade of this physical comic on the CGC consensus, and there's only 3 in existence. Go Collect says a copy could fetch as high as $480,000. Is this going to be one of the comics that you collect? Low mint.
What I want to say one thing before we get into it. Do you have an edition number
for me?
No.
I don't know. We'll get that Medium article probably tomorrow because it doesn't come out until Friday, so we'll probably get that tomorrow.
Okay, so I've used different metrics to go by the specifics on what I actually do participate in. Now, it's 100% guaranteed that I'm participating in the drop. In fact, there are only a few different up until this point in time of specific drops when it comes to comics that I did not participate in. Both Hulks, the Eternals. The last couple most recent ones, I did not participate, not even in the drop. So that's that. When it comes to this one, I will be participating in the drop, but I think it has to do, what's up, Taps? I think it has to do with the additions that is going to make the difference. Similar to this Green Goblin, it's got to be a lower scarcity for me to be involved in a collection standpoint.
Yeah.
Unless the art is so compelling, or it was like the Carnage drop, which I initially wasn't gonna go in, and then as soon as I seen the particular artwork for those particular variants, almost each individual one of those Carnage variants is an individual character with just black or white backgrounds, plain popping out that single character, which is what I favor. That one I went in for. So it really is going to depend on a couple of things. I mean, with this one, obviously, you can see the art, you can see what the variants are looking like. I have to really gauge a decision based on the additions. I think 30K or less, I'm in.
Okay.
40 or more or 50 or more, I'm out.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I just know that usually they carry on the prices usually reflect what they are in the physical comic. So that's why I was wondering. Also, we do have news. the Ron English. There was some news. He was talking in a space today about Monopoly, and that the Monopoly there will be vehicles as in conjunction with the Monopoly Man. That's going to go with that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, nice.
Are you guys excited about that, or is it like, it's Monopoly?
I really thought that it was going to be how like all cons that they've done up until this point, they did like a secret rare drop on the Sunday. I really thought that was going to be the secret rare that they did, but then they didn't end up doing one. Which, I mean, when you have 15 drops in 3 days, I guess you don't need one. But I was expecting that one to come and it didn't, so I am excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that comes with gamification. Like, what good is Monopoly pieces if you can't play the game? So, I mean, that would make it exciting for me.
There's my brother-in-law Salvatore right there.
Yo, Salvatore, what's up?
Hi, Sal.
Yeah, he's gonna. I'm gonna connect you guys. I'll transmit that link that you sent to him, and then you guys can link up direct, and go do. I know it's his resource, and I know he's got a bunch of stuff, dude. He wants to. I'm definitely buying too. I'll probably jump aboard that order because if it's in multiples of whatever it is, I'll grab whatever I want. Because there's some items I've seen that I definitely am interested in. Yeah. Real cool. Are you personally printing them yourself, or how's that?
No, I'm going through a company. I'm working with a company, and my girlfriend's managing it. She designed everything outside of that's just the logos, but she designed everything herself. So yeah, she's.
Did you have to get special like licensing or something for that, or is that just like you can?
I got permission from Veve. He told me.
Okay, that's
awesome. I had to get permission.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool stuff. Yeah, that's really.
Reese has got to pay for those hair care products somehow, right?
With that Monopoly game idea, yeah, that would be awesome, bro. I mean, if I could get, I'm just saying, for me, if I could get Tennessee, New York, and St. James, and I get that orange right before the parking right there.
Yeah,
I'll load up. Everybody hits the orange, bro. It's just a mathematical thing, just based on from the start in that area.
It's the most landed on because most people, they'll go to jail at some point and they'll get a 7, 8, 9, whatever. So it's good call.
Yeah.
Outside of the comics, have you guys been collecting anything recently? Like, are you like pumped to complete like a Marvel Mighty set or any of the designer sets?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, bro. I got some really lucky things, man, and I always send my crazy good stuff to you guys. I mean, I don't share it with too many other people. There's a few other people that I do it with, but I mean, other than that, man, I just been
You're taking over the world, bro. That's what you're doing. You're taking over the world.
Really lucky, man. Honestly, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money on other drops and other items. This particular, obviously, the Golden Moment set and like the Fat Cat and Eve, I got sick mints there, and those art pieces are of my favorite. Yeah. Wendy. Oh, you gotta watch, man. I seen I don't know.
Pegs, I'm not going to say too much because obviously it's entirely up to you what you do and don't say. But how do you feel about Walt? We were talking about Walt a little bit before you got on. I'm not going to say whether you even own one or not. Of course, I have no idea. But how are you feeling about that collectible?
Yeah, I got one. I had said I obviously it was when I was in Vegas. We had made mention. I was actually predicting when we were talking about when I was telling you 5 times to 15 times the drop was listen, man, thegreencandles.com, bro. That's my new website. But let me tell you something. The Warlooker, right off the bat, it didn't matter. All right. You know what it was going to be something that was the piece. First of all, it's a one piece. It didn't have a secondary item like a match with the rest of the Golden Moments. That was number one. Number two, it's Walt. It's Mickey. I mean, of all, you know what I'm saying? That's the second thing. The third thing is it's a prominent statue in Magic Kingdom. You've seen it before. It appears in many different places. So it's very, very popular. And it's like the go-to item when you look into like people taking photos in front of it and stuff like that. So very popular, very likely item. Now, with respect to the expectation, it's a surprise to me that it gained this high and it's not a bubble this quick. I mean, look, I was very fortunate of getting I got the draw. I was actually coming from the airport Remember I said I had that little window. Remember we talked about it, Foster?
Yeah.
We caught on coming back from Newark Airport, coming back into a suburb out of Newark, coming back home. We caught there was a truck blew up on the south side of the highway. So the north side is just, nosy neighbors. So that created traffic. I couldn't make it back home. I'm in the car. I mean, I can't make it up, dude. I'm in the car. I think I sent you my screenshot. You see, it has my time in the screenshot. Yeah. Exactly when it happened. Dude, I caught it, bro. $333. It was a high mint number, but nonetheless. And that was that one. And then, my Philippine connection hits me up with this crazy guy that has he got it in a drop. This guy, some friend of his, and he didn't list it. And he's like, I wanted to go to a good home. I'm like, bro, I'm the parking garage, bro. Yeah, right here. It can't get no better. A 45 wall. And a 41, 2, 3, and 4 haven't even been posted yet on Marketplace. So I'm like, the lowest one yet. And it's so sick. I got it oh man.
Oh, that's incredible.
I just wanted to, I already knew the story, but I wanted to hear you tell it again. And I think it's important to recognize too, and not to go too much down that path. But I mean, I knew that you got it, not at home, not on Wi-Fi or anything like that. So, crazy things can happen, right? I know a lot of people put a lot of weight behind, latency and ping and everything like that. But I mean, you got it on mobile network on the side of a highway. So it's just, crazy things can happen. And I think it's an important conversation to have because I'll admit I got a little discouraged over Decon weekend, especially with the new app update when you can see the names of everyone that has collectibles listed. And I'm seeing a lot of, 6, 7, 8, 10 collectibles listed by the same person on 888 mint drops. And I'll be honest, because of that reason, and I've told you guys this already, like I haven't picked up anything over Decon because I've just elected for my own personal, I just said, I'm going to boycott it as kind of like a stick it to the man kind of thing until this issue gets resolved. And I don't know where you guys sit on that. I know Pegs, you were collecting, just a couple things that you liked, but like, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, obviously we're not going to beat the bot hammer to death. I think Cavell did a great video on it the other day. And I think they're definitely working on addressing it, but I'm just curious because we can't only ever talk about positive things. And people always give me a load of crap for always staying positive and never talking about anything negative. So I'm just curious, like, are you guys collecting any of that Decon stuff because of that? Or did you notice anything that you thought was fishy or?
I noticed some fishy stuff, but I'm not collecting any of it. I'm flipping it. I've been getting some good flips in here and there, trying to get my money up before another big drop comes. But yeah, I don't really. I mean, I just only at this point I only collect the things that I really care about, and I nothing against the artist or anything. I don't care about it. So
yeah.
That's
I got one of those the rare extra large things because it looked like Harambe. I was like, I'll get you for like 240, nice. And then it shot up to like 480. I was like, I mean, I could just buy it back later. I want the golden M1, so I flipped it. Cavell, I'm really interested because you were not a big fan of the stamps at first. You weren't even going to get it. But I know you had kind of changed. Yeah, Pags had changed your mind after.
Same thing, bro. I was like Foster was with Decon with the stamps, and I'm like, nah, the hell out of here. I know USPS, I know the government, and all that, but it ain't like Trump's coming back and there's like this Trump figurine or something, and like he's like pushing Veve online. I mean, it's United States Post Office, but it ain't like I'm just saying. But I felt the same way, and then this one day I got this epiphany, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Randy might have made a good point there, and that one video, I'm like. You know what? Let me take a look. And in the marketplace, like a crackhead and shit. I'm like, all right, let me go in there. I go in. I was able to score 4 real nice, I think 60s, and all 60s. And I collected that set. I got them. I'm pro stamped now at this point. But getting back to Forster, what you said about Decon. Yo, bro. Yeah, we're on our way to Randy. You would know Sands. It's in Mill Creek now in PA.
Oh yeah, I love that casino.
Yeah, we're on our way. We're a good hour or so ready to bounce with the ounce. So we're going to be out of here with that. Yeah, so that's going to be cool. So and sales driving anyway. But yeah, so I mean, I was like, no, and it had nothing to do with not going into decon because of those particular bots or the situation with 8 people getting 1 drop because that's obvious.
Yeah.
It was more because I think it was just too much too fast, and I couldn't like get a good grip or gauge as to what really had value. At the same time, I was still concerned because that crazy him or that Donnie kind of low mint number edition stuff was kind of making me like, shit, could everything go like 25K on the floor and shit? I'm like, maybe I could get in there. That I was concerned. I totally stepped back. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. And then I started looking. I'm like, wow, that ostrich looks pretty damn cool. I'm like, Eve looks real nice. And I got a tip that maybe we should get Cat Bronson. Just saying. I don't know if you got that. I was awarded some inside information. No, but that cat was advised. So I got the cat, and I got such great mints for those particular 2 with Eve and the cat. I didn't get the ostrich. I'm probably not gonna. That's fine. But those particular 2, the art was great. It still is awesome, and that's the only reason why I got them. For no other reason. Obviously, the additions are super low. I think there's going to come a point in time where we're going to get to the point where they're going to have some kind of technological, I don't care if it's KYC, I don't care if they have some kind of an algorithm that is able to intrude somehow, some way, or there's a variant that gets thrown into the mix somehow. Yeah. But, we're going to be bot free, bro, one day.
Yeah.
And that's agreed. Okay. But that doesn't do anything else. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of May, June, July, when I first came into the game. Yeah. It was, you know what I'm saying? We're over there sitting. We stopped hitting the buy because we were like, what the hell are we going to do? We're going to spend $60, $80. Like back then it was like $100, like a lot of money, like, getting 12, MC1 commons or whatever. We were like, I got enough. We started like saying enough is enough. Like with the buy button, we're like, I got another one. I don't need it. You started saying, I don't need it. That's insane right now. We're talking about fractions of milliseconds being sold out, wishing we got one of anything. So, but nonetheless, that we learn, and we're going to get back to something like that. I think that, and I don't know about any editions, like I see how they went with the Goblin. They went with that's the highest edition we ever dealt with, the 70K. And that just flew out the box. So I don't even if we get 100K or even 200K, I don't know how that's going to like dilute the value. In the sense, I think it's going to, because look, what are we going to do as the VV app just continually grows and grows in participants? Are we still going to stay with 50 and 60K? It's going to get to a point where a smaller and a smaller and a smaller percentage, or should I say a larger and larger and larger percentage of people that are taking the app it's going to get to a point where they're going to get discouraged. They're going to say, I've been in this for like 6 months. I haven't gotten one drop. And that's only because at that point, it might be like 1 million people coming into the game with only still a 50 or 60K additions. So don't get me wrong. Look, this decon was a great. I even know there was bot activity and stuff. It was a great metric to go by when it comes to like diluting us with daily drops, 4 drops a day. Even though it was only 100 each time, 800,000, whatever. They're still gone. And it doesn't matter if they were $6.99 or $70 or $80 or $90, they're gone. And I just believe that I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a concern of $300 or $500 or like Walt was gone at $333. He was put it like
won't matter.
What was the additions on the Walt? Was what was it?
4,333.
Right, 4,300. So just say 4,000. And just say 300, you're at, what is that? 1.2?
Was it
1.2?
It was that, you mean, what is Walt
like
at now?
In other words, a market cap out the gate, like just like at a minimum, right?
It was at like 2.4 out the gate.
No. What I'm saying is, just say there was 4,000 editions and they were $300 each. Yeah. Just out the gate, it's a $1.2 million market cap out of all the.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Or just the Waltz alone, it was $1.2 million market cap going out without marketplace dictating any increased value. Just just a flat rate, if they didn't list them any more than $1, that's $1.2 million right there, gone. So in other words, what is it going to take? $600? $1,000? Like, what is the number going to be? I mean, look, people are purchasing secondary market items and they're flipping them, buying them at 1,000 in anticipation of selling them for 1,500 or 1,200 or making 20% or even 2,000. So $1,000 is still affordable in the market's eyes. So I don't know where they're going to use that gauge as to enough is enough. You know what I mean? Like where to test the market, because every time they have more drops, every time, with the more PR and the more marketing that Veve has out there, you're going to keep gaining more and more participants. And so over time, we're going to get to a point where we may have over 1 million to 2 million participants globally on one drop.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be changed.
I mean, just think about having 1 million participants on one drop, and say we have 100,000 editions, and it's like $400 edition. You know what I mean?
God,
I think they're going to move away from just like I think that what they're going to do as the app gets bigger, they're going to move away from just like pure collectible type things and just stuff that can cater to everybody. So I think that maybe they may give gamification and give something with like maybe 1 million editions, and it's just something fun for people to be able to do. But a lot of this stuff is going to be introduced with like the metaverse, I think. But like just mini games and stuff. So some characters, like 1 million of some characters, where you could just play around, do something with them, do something fun. It's just the experience. So even if people aren't necessarily securing the drops, it starts that transition into people coming onto the Veve app to do something other than drops, because right now that's all we really have. But I think that we're going to slowly start transitioning into, oh, this has some utility. Go do this in the app. That has utility. Go rent this. Go do so people are going to get into renting things that they can't really afford. Like if the Donnie comes with some type of utility, some type of Powerpuff Girls game or something like that, you can rent a Donnie and like stuff like that. I think that we're going to start moving to that sooner than later, honestly.
Yeah, I'm man. I tell you, man, I'm so like every single day that goes by, I'm odd. There's nothing that can't excite me. I'll be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I seen the hit monkey, listen, my take on that. I wasn't a big advocate of that to begin with. I know Randy, pumped it from here to California, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't get me wrong. I like the art. The monkey's cool as hell. The story's real cool. If you read it, but I mean, from a mass market appeal, it's too new. You know what I mean? So it's not really like, it doesn't have that bite for me. Don't get me wrong. The editions were great. I think having a low mint like that is great for that particular comic, and it actually it's holding some nice value. Believe it or not, the floor is there. The SR floor, it was at like 3K or more, right? 3.3K last time I seen it. The SR on that, that's huge.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. You guys were talking about floors before I had to dip there for a sec. The Marvel Mighties that came out, the most recent one, the Eternals, 109,000 editions. I'm looking at the commons right now. The cheapest common is $12.98, and they were $13 blind boxes, and that's of all of the commons. All of the commons are either priced above or at the floor, and then of course each of the other collectibles that have more scarcity or whatever are higher. So if we can have, and I mean for people that say oh, we have 1 million downloads, we only have 100,000 active users or whatever, well, the numbers aren't showing that right now. They're not supporting that. We definitely have more. I think we have at least 500,000 active users just based on that, because the fact that they're selling at or above floor, I mean, people are starting to realize the value of some of all the collectibles on this app. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember the first comic drop that came out, the Marvel Comics #1. I think I managed to pick up 9 on the drop, and with my wife on 2 devices. And we basically stopped buying them. We're like, okay, like how many more do you honestly need? And then they came out and they were like $3 or $4 for a common comic, right? And I'll be honest, I didn't pick any of them up because I was like, oh man, comics are a joke. Why did VV bring comics? And now you look at the floor for the Marvel Comics #1 comic, and it's like $70. So I think, you know, and I think that had what, 60,000 editions, 48,000 commons. So, I mean, it just goes to show that even, you know, a 60,000 comic drop or, you know, a 109,000 blind box drop, I think people are really starting to respect and understand the value of these collectibles and realizing that we're onboarding so many new users at such a rate that the amount of collectibles that we have, even on the largest drops, is still not sufficient to meet demand. And I think the price action on these collectibles supports that.
Yeah, I do. The you know, there's a lot of speculation, obviously drop to drop, because you know, a large percentage of the market, I could say, if I had to take a guess, I would say probably the larger percentage of the market is flippers versus collectors. And so and that's not a bad thing, because flippers are technically collectors too, because they get stuck with what they're trying to flip if they don't flip.
That's true.
And verdantly, I mean, they become collectors. However, the inventory gets to a point, and I can tell you a perfect example is because I have a few items that I got from a guy that was trying to flip, and I'm actually talking to the guy that sold these particular items that I have to the guy that I got them from, and man, for instance, the X-Men Ultra Rare. Remember the X-Men Ultra Rare, the black background with a professor and
oh yeah.
It's a 202. With a 201 as the first mint, and the Ultra Rare got the 202. That was bought by the guy that I got it from another guy for $5K.
Oh, wow.
And I got the Fantastic 413 Rare. It's a 201, right?
Wow.
That's the first one in that whole set, and it came into a rare, right? It's like the black and white. It's got the Watcher. He bought that for $4K. So that was over $9K just for those two items. I got those two plus the first ultra rare Miles Morales ultra rare in the Ultimate Fallout drop. I got that with the picture of like his mask, like half on, that ultra rare one. That was a 250. That was the first one in there. So just think, all three of them, the 201, the 202, this 250, and I got a 211 Spider-Man. It was the 50, the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 50, the rare in that one, a 211. So that was the first rare in that set. All four of them for $5K. He bought them from three of them from the one guy, which cost him over 10 grand just for the one. And then Spider-Man was like a gift. I'm just saying, like, I got good deals. And what I'm saying is these flippers become in a sense collectors, and they got to somehow unload the inventory. I just happen to be at the right place, right time.
Yeah.
And so it happens, and they kind of get passed down. So like, I think the beginning is first, trying to find out, if you get stuck with something, because that's a big question that comes up a lot with respect to, people trying to flip and they think they get a good deal, and then all of a sudden, things don't go the right way. There are fortunate times, like obviously Walt, and I'm gonna say Walt, a lot of the golden moments, you could have picked up floors and definitely at least 1 to 2x your minimum investment in less than 3 or 4 days. So the golden moments have been very radical in that sense. However, if you dumped your Walt when it was 6K, it's almost 12K. You just and you would have made a lot of coin on just to flip it to 6K. Now you could have doubled that to 12K.
That's so much money.
You just don't know.
Speaking of not knowing, Mickey's hat is currently $3,500.
My God, man.
Where do we see this going in the short term? Because I feel like any number we throw out is still going to be wrong. Like
Randy, was it you? Randy, was it you or I think it was Foster on our podcast when I was in Vegas? I think when Randy came in, then we talk about the hat being. I mentioned that hat having a lot more. Listen, it's Elsa. It's Elsa's like partner in that pair. You know what I mean? The hat and her were like in the two.
Yeah.
And I think the hat was the rare or whatever. I knew that hat. It's Mickey's hat, man. And I remember I made the point that it was in front of, it's like a statue in front of the Magic Kingdom, or when you come into a Disney World, it sits there. It's a huge, like 50 feet long, and it's got to be like at least 12 to 15 feet wide at the base of the hat. big statue type thing. Yeah, these little key things, man. And that's going to moon too. The hat's going to go over 10K too.
Yeah, I think all of these are going to go up.
Oh no, they're
based
going
on
to go up.
Like
you know what it is? They're finding their right buyers, because what's happening is the floors are going faster, and now people are like, oh no, the floor. They're like, I don't want to be the bottom floor, so they jump it up a little. And then there's a lower guy, and then he jumps it up a little. Before you know it, like no one wants to be the bottom mint, because if they sell theirs, they know the next leg up is going to be the higher, the 3 or 4 100 arguably, or 1K higher, and they're going to be the next guy out, and they don't want to be out. They want to hold on. So
I think it could be some like manipulation going on though. Like, not to Wally's kind of trash, and he's up right now a lot. I'm sorry, but Wally's like the worst one that was released, and he's up to he's going towards 700. So it is the first Wally. It is legendary, but some of these other ones should definitely be higher if Wally's this high. Like the Avengers logo. The Avengers logo should at least be double Wally.
I'm telling you right now, bro, you're 100% right. Actually, when I seen the Avenger logo, I was thinking bigger. I was like, oh no, the Avenger. I was like, whoa, that's like, because that crosses the bridge between comic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I still think that the Avengers has a lot more to go. And you gotta realize too, it has to do with editions. Look at the edition numbers.
Well, I think of the Ghostbusters logo when I see it, but I know the editions difference, but at the same time, like.
But it's about the IP at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it could be above or somewhere near the Ghostbusters at least. Like,
I think, and it's interesting because I feel like one of the benefits of the Disney moments is that, and not to say that there is no mint edition run that would be impossible to manipulate, but when you have 12,000 of a collectible out, I would argue that it is far more difficult for someone to manipulate that price than if it's just like 150 of a collectible, right? Like if you band together, let's say the 4 of us all owned a bunch of hymns, we could manipulate the price of that. But it really doesn't, like if each of us owned 20 Elsas, we're still not manipulating that price. Like there's so many of them that literally, like to me, what this shows is that there is just so much demand for these items, and there are so many people on the platform now that understand the value proposition of holding these collectibles. Like we have 12,000 mint collectibles that have been released that have 200 for sale on the market.
Yeah.
Like that's such a small number for that amount of mints. And then like you watch them get sold and the mint numbers go down. It's not like these people are just pulling them off the market and then relisting them for higher prices to like whatever. Like that does still happen to an extent, but like it's actually crazy to look at some of these large edition run Disney moments and see just how much the demand is there for them. And the demand is equally high, for Elsa at 1,100 as it was for Elsa at 200, or, the demand is equally as high for Mickey's hat at 3K as it was for Mickey's hat at 500. Like, I really don't know where we draw the line for these moments. And I will say, in the interest of full disclosure, I may own a couple of the Disney moments, but I don't have an intention of selling them anytime soon. You will never.
Moonboy brings up a good point. He says, I'm downplaying it big time. Bored Apes are selling for hundreds of thousands. This is Disney's first NFT collection. And when you take into consideration, when you start comparing stuff to like Bored Apes and things like this, should everything be higher at that point? I know it's less editions, but there's scarce Bored Apes and stuff like that. It's scarce stuff that nobody cared about besides the fact that you can make money from it, or it comes with some type of benefit, or you can get in parties and things like that. Like, when does Disney overtake some of this stuff that's really nothing if you really think about it? Like stuff that's not going to be around 5-10 years from now. Like how high should these be up? Because is edition numbers still going to continue to be such a big deal that you can have a Bored Ape selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we can't see a lot of these Disney things start having floors of like maybe 100K?
Listen, you're 100%. When I want to get back to this, it's really kind of important. I actually had said something. I made mention about when I didn't have a Superman, a Todd, or a Spider-Man SR. And when that Twitter space group said, yeah, you got to have at least one of them. Sean talked me into buying the Spider. Got to get it. I paid $4,400 for it. Okay, fine. Then I had immediately bought a Superman and a Todd right after that, like that same day. It was like a 1.2 or 1.3K for each, whatever. Let me tell you something. Todd is going to moon. Like it's going to be over 10 to 50K. I'm making that right now. Todd is going to surprise everybody, as well as a 100K Walt. Walt is going to, listen, all of the golden moments are all going to pump. And they're all probably going to be floors of anywhere between 10 and 30. Walt's going to be the 100K. And this isn't like a pump and a dump thing. I'm transparent. I'll show my entire collection. Matter of fact, I have most of my collection in my profile. I wish I was able to profile more of my items, to be quite honest. I wish that's one part of Veve that I always had made mention, but I never get answers. You guys have like inside connections with like, Trevor and Rias. Tell them, open up our or at least maybe for specific collectors that have over a certain amount, give them more to provide for the profile where we could put more in there just to showcase more, because that's something that I like to do. But every single one of these collectibles, mark my words, is going to be in the tens. Listen, we were talking about Thanos the other day, and I was like, everybody's sleeping on the Thanos set and everything. I know, I'm telling you, everybody's sleeping on Thanos, right? Keep sleeping. I don't know if anybody's aware. Thanos there is no more, right? Who's the next Thanos? I'm telling you right now. I got some. Everybody has all the access I have access to. Go to Google, start looking it up. I predict Kang is going to be the purple boy. And if I'm right, watch that Avenger set. Not only because it's Kang and not only because that Avenger set, is because it's already the super low limited as it already is right now.
That's a good point.
You guys, it's going to, and especially in an MCU, when you get a movie, and then you're going to see these are the particular things that pop stuff. You know what I mean? And when you're looking, even Fantastic Four, like the Fantastic Four 1 comic, the SR, like 5-6K. That's amazing. I told my wife, I'm thinking about buying 5 of them for 25K and just sitting, because I know they're going to be 25, 30K each. I'm telling you, there's some ridiculous. People have no clue what the hell's going on right now, and I don't know what to do. I bought 15 Superman, bro.
Oh my god!
Wow.
What's that at? Like 1,000, 1,200?
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
Nice. Damn.
And someone just posted Todd just is at 3.5K. Is that right? Because it was just
2.5. It was 2.8, went to 2.5. But it was at 1,800 this morning.
I seen it at 16 and 17. Yep.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, and this isn't like a ebb and flow of pump and dumpers and people doing. This is actual flippers that are saying, you know what? I got 6 to 10K. I'm buying 4 or 5. Another guy's like, you know what? I got like 15K. I'm buying a 8, 9, 10. And you know what? They're doing the right thing. So they're scooping up all of these items off of the market, and it's bringing the supply. Even though the additions might dictate they're out there, it's not, because you're having multiple items per each person. It's starting to get crazy, and now you're going to have these other people who don't have one. They just want to come in the market. They're grabbing one, and then another one person's grabbing one, and those are the ones where it's like, I think the MC1 is the lowest one is 30K. But there's only one like that. But then there's right after that, it's a 40K and a 44K. Then it goes to 60K. So we're only like 3 away from a 60K floor in the MC1 SR. This is what I'm saying. So and using that as an analogy for the other items, when you start getting floors that only have 1 or 2 that are on, and then there's like this huge jump to the next, the next platform. There's those people that just don't want to miss the boat, and they have to grab something. And I'm so super happy. I'm like out of this crazy swinging left hooks and right uppercuts and stuff, because it's going to get crazy.
I love too, because I consider, and I mean, Randy's was vocal earlier about like, hey, I sold this, and this, and this is the reason why I sold this, and this, because I'm waiting for this. And I just think it's kind of funny. I love reading. I mean, I'll straight up call them trolls. I don't care, in the comments. And, oh, well, they're just saying these things because they're trying to pump it to turn around and dump it and stuff. And it's hilarious because like I know all of you guys outside of these streams, you know, we have talks and whatever, and it's just crazy to see how your passion for the project very much carries over into what you talk about in real life. And I know very much that if you bought, you know, 15 Supermans, you're not selling them anytime soon because you understand the value in them. And I just think it's funny when people say that. Like, it just goes to show that I don't want to call people uneducated or whatever, but it's just like you clearly don't get a sense. Like, there would be so many better ways for us to just be like, hey, go buy this right now, I'm running a contest or something. Like we're, you know, trying to give people advice and insight into things based on things that we're observing. Like, Cavell has a paid group that he could just go give the information to there. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to do this. And so I think it's awesome that you share this stuff. And I really hope that the people listen to you and understand what you're saying. And I see it in the group. Some people do. They're like, you know what? He's hitting the nail right on the head. And, you know, all these things are recorded. You can listen to them back afterwards, but, you know, come back and listen to this in a month and see where those prices are with what Henry was saying. Because if you don't get it, it's fine. It's totally fine. But like,
I think people have short-term memory and they just don't remember what happens. Like Brendan Z put out a great point. When they announce whatever they're going to announce for Saturday, they'll probably announce that tomorrow. They'll announce it tomorrow, and the Medium article will come out on Friday. And a bunch of these, I don't know necessarily about the golden moments, but a bunch of the rest of the market is going to be, it's going to drop because like, oh, $400 price point. It's going to be, and whether it's going to be an amazing, cool character or if it's like Squirrel Girl or something, it doesn't matter. People are going to FOMO into it.
Guys, I don't want to interrupt you. I want to make a point about what I was saying about Kang and about that Avenger set. I don't know if you know how low that particular those particular variants, the mint numbers, how they are. That's the lowest out of any set that we had in any comic drop. Okay, it's a 148, a 149, a 150. That's how low those are, right? I was able to get. I'm going to show you this morning. You know, everybody's like, yeah, you know, what are you doing in the morning? You know, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the VV app spending 1,000 gems on this.
Which one was that?
That's the uncommon Kang.
Yeah, and the price point. Did you see the common and the uncommon price point difference?
It's the listen. It's the 176. I own the first one in that. This is the 176. I believe it's the number 2. It was a G-Note. And I said, you know what? That is probably one of the best. It's a 176 uncommon Avenger already. Look at the additions on the uncommons in that one. A 176 for 1G. And I own the lowest one on that. I think it was the actual it's a 148 or I think it. I'm sorry, I have so many friggin' mint numbers. You know, and a matter of fact, the ultra rares are 159. Like these are low numbers. Like under, you know, we're not used to these low mints being released, and Avengers has that. That set, you know, with Kang and that particular, you know, it's like. Everybody has a taste, you know. Everybody's got like, you know, something that they might like, you know, and something that's affordable. But if you do your research, everybody has to listen. If you do your research and you look and see, go on the MCU, go take a look, go see what movies are coming out, go see what's coming up next, go see what they're planning, and look at like some of the like speculative stuff that's in place, and kind of do some, you know, deductive reasoning and see if you can break down some stuff, you know. Don't worry, you guys. You can rent. You can rent Henry. Sean's going to be my croupier, man. He's going to be the maitre d'. But yeah, Todd is the Bitcoin of Vivi, and you know, Kyle, that is an absolutely that's so underrated. People don't really realize. We hear Todd and everybody's like, I'll combine it with, because they always talk about Risso and, you know, how limited it is and everything else. Listen, I take the whole limit thing seriously, and I'm a big advocate of it. You guys are also, you understand how obviously the less editions, but when you come to firsts, that's why Golden Moments, the entire thing, the skateboard, Bart Simpson, I think the skateboard more than anything. I think it's another underrated one. And I got a few. And Walt. I mean, with the whole set, you can have the whole set. You're golden. No pun intended. But it's if sometimes editions don't matter because there's so much demand for it. And you got to realize 5,000, 6,000. That might sound like a lot. Think about our comic drops. We haven't had anything under 10K. And look at what those particular floors are for SRs and everything else, and those 5 variants. So look at each one of these. I mean, these are 4K and 6K. We have an 833K.
So which one should I get? I'm on the page right now. Common, rare, ultra. I don't know if I could. Go to the. See, this is when I said when I first seen this app. And I was like, I don't know. Because before, when you would go into, obviously, the one thing I do like is when you hit the 1, it brings up all 5. You don't have to go back in and go search for and keep sliding for the uncommon, because it was all mixed up before. That I like. However, when you go to it, all you do is see like a spreadsheet of all the owners of it. I like to actually see the actual comic and see the actual mint number next to it. And there's also a delay. Like when you hit low editions, when you go to like editions low to high and you hit it, sometimes you're sitting there waiting for the app to before when you hit low editions, boom, it can pop right up. I don't know, obviously that might get better and faster. But those particular Avenger drops, when you go to you'll see me, if you go to a common or you go to the uncommon, you'll see I'm the first one because I have the lowest mint and basically most of the variants. Yeah. Look at those low numbers in the 180, 170. I think one person might have one lower one than me. I don't think so, though. Yeah, there's a 173 common for 1.2. Well, you got the uncommon, you said, right?
And I got the 176 for
1,000. But that was you got it for the uncommon, though, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right. So, I mean, I'll take a look. I mean, the dangerous thing now is again, I'm addicted to this. I have gems now. So I did take my Homer off. I had Homer on there for 825 and I saw the floor climbing and I was going to get there. I was like, nah, I'll keep them. I'll keep them. So I took them off there for right now. I'll let you guys know exactly what I'm doing with it.
Pegs, what ends up being worth more, the Todd McFarlane Batman or the Mickey hat? Long term, I'm curious.
Wow, dollar to dollar, I'd rather have 2 Todds if I can get it for one Mickey hat. If I get the price, if it's even, but dollar to dollar, even though Todd's Todd. The Mickey hat, man, it's a rare golden moment, and it's in the Mickey collection. It's in the golden moment collection, and because Disney, it's not like it's like Batman's a part of VV, it's a part of DC has it's not like Disney is Disney, you know what I mean? And so it has a different umbrella. I think there's more Disney people out there in the scope of things. I think the Mickey hat will play a role in something in VeVeverse that'll make a difference. I don't know what kind of incentives they're going to do. I don't know if they're even going to have incentives. I don't know if you have maybe, edition number this to this, you're going to be able to get through a certain.
Yeah. And on my stream on, I think it was Friday night at DCon, I was asking, was it Alex or Trevor? I forget who it was. Anyone go to my stream and they could see it from that Friday at DCon. And I said, "What's going on with Elsa's shoe? What is that?"
I was watching you live when you said that, bro. I was in my hotel room, pounding on the door. Trevor, say it. Just say it.
Oh, so it was Trevor.
So secret. Say Cavell's the man. Like this is what I want.
Well, he confirmed 2 things: that it was not Walt's pen, but it was something. And I said, "Can you further elaborate?" He says, "I probably should even tell you that." Like he doesn't, but he did say it was something.
It looks like a pen, though. It does.
It does, but it does look like some. But he said it was something. We're not. And I think, why are they just going to do that just for Elsa? They're probably going to do that one little thing for each of them, unless for whatever reason they just happen to give it to Elsa. She just gets lucky. I think they're going to.
He said the file size came because of the detail on Elsa and because of that. But honestly, if you really look at Walt and Mickey. Look at that detail in his face. Look at that stuff. That's likeness. Look. I don't know. I'm not saying that he's lying, but that's a big file for detail. Cavell,
Mickey's hat's 4K now.
On a technical level, that's a little.
I mean, to me, these files don't look like it's just like textures and stuff like that. Like, because how do you get some other beautifully done pieces so small files, and then suddenly you don't know how to make a small file no more? It's like it's some details in like Elsa's dress and stuff, but come on, it's not that many details. It's just not.
Well, I mean, the dress that has the little fractals of snowflakes on it. That's. Yeah.
So my brother is in game development in college right now. And I was actually asking him about that after Cavell released his video. I said, hey, like, do you have any thoughts on that? And he was basically explaining like polygon densities and all these things. Because obviously in game design, you have to design elements and stuff. And he was basically saying that like each individual curve makes up multiple polygons. So when you have an item like a snowflake that makes up like when you have that amount of detail on an image, the more angles, the more polygons. Which I mean, who knows, right? Like, but I mean that statue, like I think someone zoomed in and like she's got toes like underneath her shoes. Like that thing is like incredibly detailed.
But why is she so detailed? Like, why does she have toes? What are they going to be doing? They're going to be.
I don't know about toes. That looks like a pen. That looks like somebody went a little crazy on that pedicure, bro. That pinky toe, man. I don't know what happened. Somebody was talking about, you have no boyfriend, like that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think she's gonna be able to pull that thing out of her foot and then wave it like the old Disney.
Oh wow, bro! Like a wand,
and then play her song like
a wand.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing that you get frozen with, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they have the snowflakes on there.
Yeah, that could be like one of those things, those Disney original channel movies where they take the wand like and they draw the ears. Yeah. Also, Pags, Cavell said before, there's not too much difference between the floor of the common and the floor of the uncommon of the Avengers number 8. So I FOMO'd in and I got the floor. It was like $2.99 of the. Because I can't help it. I shouldn't have done it.
How much was that one?
It's $298.
Oh, you good? No. What's the mint number?
Oh, 9,285. So
it's floor. Okay,
like the actual floor. Yeah,
still good. Wait, 9,000 what?
9,285.
Listen, that might be you might have one of the last of the uncommons in that group because it's a 10K thing and there's a lot of commons in there.
I try.
Hey, that's got to count for something, right? That's got to count for something.
Well, there was somebody, I don't know if it was Planet Vampire or Maxwell Cook. There's somebody that had, I think it was one of the gliders for 007. Whatever, maybe it wasn't that. Whatever he had the actual last mint. Like it was the last mint number. I don't know if anyone that collects something like that. I just thought it was cool. I've never seen that before.
What if you put all the collectibles together or in some setting that VV creates, and then you see them like go under the hat? Like people were saying that the little ball is under the hat. What if you see them go under the hat, grab the ball, go to her shoe, take the pin off of her shoe? Like what if you see these all get animated?
I'm telling you, between Randy's sense and Foster's PR and your technical development, Veve needs you guys. You guys are what they need because these ideas this how you should bring that stuff to life. Honestly, I don't know what the hell you guys should have ran decon. What the hell's going on over here? You see that? You see Kang was incredible in Loki. He's going to carry the next 20 Marvel movies like Tony and Thanos. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Kang.
Yeah.
That's my pick. You heard it here first.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Kang is he was absolutely fantastic in Loki. That's their next big bad. That's their next multiverse bad. Now, maybe you could make the argument that like in between Avengers 1 and Avengers 3 and 4, you had Ultron. And maybe you could see that like Galactus would be the in-between bad. In between these movies, like the next Avengers level thing would be like a Galactus or like a Silver Surfer, but the big one's going to be Kang. There could be multiple of Kang because it's multiverse. So So yeah.
Listen, hear this first, because I love going back to these videos. I always look back and I'm like, I knew it. Ready? Kang has the Infinity Gauntlet. He wears it. Let's see.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I guess he could go to another place's, another universe's, what do you call it? And get this stones from there. So that'd be cool. But yeah, so Decon, you guys have to go next time. It was so much fun, and it was nice to be able to give some of the devs a break, because they were there and they had a couple of tablets out there so that people could like try to experience, oh, this is what it's like during a drop. But it was a bunch of us that were, me, Taps, Wendy, and everyone that was just showing everyone this is how you do it. So they kind of got to lay back a little bit. I mean, they still answered a whole bunch of questions, and everyone was having each other sign shirts and stuff. So it was so much fun. You guys got to go to the next one whenever.
Listen, you know me, I would have been there, bro. I was only 4 hours from Anaheim. I could have drove out there. I would have did it. I was in the air while you were on your way back. There's nothing I could do. I was out for Vegas for 3 weeks. I mean, if it was earlier, I would have took a trip. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But this is good. Let it break the ice. I'm glad Veve was there. Let it be the first. Let them get their feet wet. Let us get on Immutable.
Before we take over.
Next one. When we get the next one, where we're like 10 feet deep and we're like over the 5 cent party.
Well, will you guys go to the it's called Level Up Expo in February? It's in Vegas. Would you guys go to that? I'm going.
I heard that it's over the 25th, 26th, 27th weekend, and my work may or may not know that I'm planning to take some time off around that time. I don't want to confirm anything quite yet. I'll be honest, like in the interest of full disclosure, like it's really going to depend on what the price of OMI is. Yeah. Like I think if we really get up past a couple cents, like I'm really going to be able to justify kind of starting to take advantage of these opportunities. But if we're kind of like where we're at right now, still in February, it might be a little bit more difficult.
What's the date?
Capital.
The date. What's the date for that?
It's the 25th weekend.
Yeah, 25th through the 27th.
Tony. Yeah, I'm coming out back to Vegas. All right. Yeah, I need like 4 rooms for a bunch of guys. Okay, I'm coming back. It's crazy. I'm telling you. Guys, let me tell you, it's gonna be. I hope. I don't know. Listen, for me, I obviously, with the kids and everything. I knew guys. Some of you got kids, some of you don't. But for me, it's a little more of a crapshoot. I can't like kind of commit. Though it would be great to. There is going to come a point in time where we're all together and we're gonna have the massive crazy picture. But I mean, it's happening. You guys are having fun. You're making strides. There's a lot of people meeting everybody, and I'm glad. I let the foundation, gather itself. Let everybody kind of like, soothe into the gel and the soup and everything, and until because we're still not really there yet. I know we're kind of like celebrating, but there's no balloons yet, and don't get me wrong, I'm super pumped, and we're going, and and as time goes on, I hope to still be able to accumulate more OMI, but right now it's like, we have to focus on each step. We have to focus on looking at where we're going. The tokenomics have to work right. We have to have all the technical aspects in place, and that's why we're not there yet. It's not, it was supposed to happen middle of October, beginning of, we're getting all these little tweets and stuff, and it's coming tomorrow, next week, it's soon. I don't like speculation with like that, because when you start throwing dates and things like that there, if it doesn't happen, it's a disappointment. If instead of just saying coming soon to a theater near you, when it comes, then its expectation is, when it happens, it happens. So that's why I'm just still, we're business as usual. We're doing what we do. We're looking at the best deals that are in the NFT market right now. That's the discussion. And,
Speaking of expectations and things happening when they happen, I had a couple theories about this week, and I think I might be proved wrong, at least on one of them so far, but I thought it was really interesting. I was talking to Randy about this earlier, that the comic drop was moved from a Thursday to a Wednesday, because normally we only ever have comic drops on Thursdays is when it started. Then we started having them on Tuesdays, and then we've never had a comic drop on a Wednesday before. So I thought it was very interesting that the comic drop moved from a Thursday to a Wednesday, and I thought that it might be because they were ready to do the Immutable X, the phase 2 for the collectibles, and I thought that might happen tonight during down hours, but we're getting a little late into the evening now, and I haven't heard any whispers or anything about it. So I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong. But then I found out because Akomi tweeted out that David Yu is doing a conversation with CoinGecko tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is normally when we would have a drop. And it got me thinking, could there be any reason that they would want people to attend and listen to this conversation bad enough that they would move a drop an entire day just to accommodate it? So at the very least, I will be listening in to that conversation tomorrow because I'm very curious to hear what is going to come from it. And I guess we'll see about that. So that's speculation number one. And then speculation number two is I very much believe that the OMI utility program article is coming out this weekend. I don't have any insider knowledge. No one's told me anything or anything like that. But I will say the last time that we had an AMA on a Friday, they talked about the Master Collector Program article, and then they released it the next day, like at noon on the Saturday. So I'm thinking logically the reason that they're not doing the because they always do it on Thursdays. Like that's always when we do our AMA. So the fact that it's been moved to a Friday leads me to believe that they don't want too much time to elapse between, hey, here's the sneak peek of the OUP and then releasing it the next day, which is what they did with the MCP. So I think, and I could be wrong, it's not financial advice, they'll go out and buy a bunch of OMI assuming that the price is going to go crazy, but I think we're going to get the OMI utility program this weekend. Because we know it's already written. We know it is. Like, you know, Randy talked to Reese. It's confirmed. Yeah, it's.
So I mean, if you have the, this will be such a crazy week. We have him at David Yu tomorrow at 11. Probably either we're also going to get the Medium article for the comic drop on Friday. We're also going to get the announcement of who we're going to get on Saturday, and then on Friday we have the comic drop. We have the Medium article for the details for the additions for Saturday. We have the AMA, and then potentially, like I said, just that OMI utility article, which is already written. And Foster, you mentioned this before. They had said as soon as DCon and Disney Week is done, it's full steam ahead. So this is a crazy week.
This week, and you know what? We talk like we talk, but every single week that goes by is going to be 1 week closer to getting closer to the fire. And I know that may sound like it's not a pump at all. It's a reality check. Sharky Man says, Mr. Pags, have you looked up Elsa's dress? I'm going to be completely honest. I absolutely did. She's got a butt. It's not even a butt. It's like they call it a hiney or something. Like, yeah, I did. I'm not going to lie. Not for any reason. Just to hell. And I want to see if there's anything hidden in there. You know what I mean? If there's some.
I love you so much.
I'm not a pervert. I'm just saying it was just a. Cavell had me going on some secret shit. And he's like, I'm telling you, it's like I'm like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a dude on there. I don't know. Let me check it out. You know what I mean?
In case anyone's listening, she's 18 in the movie. We'll just say
I know, but you never know, man. Those hungamaniacs, bro. You never know. Freaky things happen. There's a big file in there. There's a lot of kilobytes.
Yeah. And they Disney had created the statue for them. So it wasn't like anyone at VV was like, oh, let me give her a great bubble. She does squat. No, yeah, it was Disney that did that. And also Superman made like $1,000 today because he bought a couple of Togs this morning, and he made like $3,000 today because he bought a few of them, and then so congrats to you, Superman, doing all that, doing the Lord's work there.
Crazy.
Yeah, so there was a thing over there before, like as far as what if owning, again, there's going to be certain things that'll give you certain perks. Like Invisible Woman will probably give you a little bit extra stealth at some point because
Hey guys, I got the Salvatore Giancarelli that was donating, and
thank you so much.
The Giancarelli brothers right here, bro.
Let's go.
What's up? How's it going, everybody?
Y'all?
We got 200 million Omi sitting right here. Randy, you're 300. You guys are another 50, so we're good.
You guys look, you guys definitely look like brothers.
I think to be fair, I think Cavell and I combined are more like 15 rather than 50. But it's good. It's good.
I mean, 15 and a half.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell people tomorrow that on my tomorrow morning stream, but I have I just got another order completed, so it's 115 million Omi.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats, bro.
Let's go.
Buy more Omi, guys. Buy more Omi.
Pegs, are you going to play some Hold'em, or what are you guys going to do?
Listen, man, it's a casino. Whatever they want to donate, they want to donate to me. What?
Someone bought the 30,000 MC1 secret rare, so we're at $40,000 floor right now.
Wow.
Wait. The MC1 that 30 I was telling you about.
Yeah, someone just bought it. So
what did I tell you? It was that 130 sitting there. It's a 40, a 44, and then it goes right to 60. We're two 40s away from a 60K floor.
Yeah, so it's going back up.
Guys, I love all three of you. I got to get going. It's a crazy event. Thank you very much for having me as always. And
thank you all.
Y'all have a good time.
Enjoy yourself, man.
Thank you, guys. Take care, guys.
All right, peace, guys. Meow, meow. Damn. So, what was some of your guys' stuff that you happen to go and like? I'll buy this and see where it goes, and then it like 8x. Which ones have you guys had for that?
Spider-Man secret rare.
Spider-Man secret rare, guys. Spider-Man secret rare.
I never expected that at all. Like it was at that time where I wasn't even taking drops seriously for that and the lucky. I just happened to luck up and get them, and yeah, they did more than I could ever have to expect it.
Yeah, honestly, the Spider-Man, looking back on it, reflecting on it, like definitely saw it happening eventually. I just didn't see it happening as quickly as it did. That definitely has gone up quite a bit in value. I don't know that there's any collectibles that have been released recently that I've been super shocked on. I think if anything, it's the inverse. There's some collectibles that I thought would do better than what they did. So like the 007 glider, the ultra rare, like it never went over like $500. I thought it would do better.
That was the first one that appeared on TV too. Like
I really thought that thing, like with the animation that it had, like I really thought that it was going to do better than it did. The posters, I think in general, it made sense that they didn't do that well. So that was 007. And then Marvel stuff, the alligator Loki, I think obviously didn't do as well. I don't think people associate or care about it as much. It was up a little bit. I think it's like under $1,000 now for the secret rare or something. Like I don't really think people are too enamored with it. Like it's an alligator, right? So
it's like it's animated and there's like 800. Well, there's 600 something mints, right? Or 600 or 800 mints.
Yeah, it's low. Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like it. I feel like that. I still feel like that's gonna moon at some point.
You know what? And I think it will, but like that's the issue that we all run into, right? Is like I've collected about all that I can justify collecting. So the bigger concern becomes what can I justify selling to continue collecting? And at what point does it make sense to give up certain collectibles? So there's a couple collectibles that I have duplicates of that I bought through Disney Week and some other ones. And it's just deciding. I think, Cavell, I think you have a lucky as well, right? I think we both have a lucky.
Yeah, I have a lucky.
Yeah. So like, I'm just trying to like, cause the thing is like lucky's only about like 2.4 right now, but he's been up, over 4 previously. So it's like, do I sell it now to get some gems? And then, we'll get interoperability with whatever. And then someone will decide that they want to pay an arm and a leg for it. And then it'll go up a lot. And it's tough. And that's it.
Exclusive, yeah.
Yeah, 999 editions, and that's the problem, right? Like you're never going, if you're selling right now for 90% of collectibles that are on the platform, you are not selling anywhere near the top. Like that's just a fact. There's some collectibles that they were overhyped and it was what it was, and they're probably never going to fully recover. But I would say the vast majority of the collectibles on the platform are going to go up quite a bit over time. So it's just about what can you justify giving up and what are you giving it up for?
That's a good point. I mean, I sold my Star Trek set today just in preparation for what we might get. Real Talk asks, we have a order. Like if I see 69 or 420 in there, I'm gonna get it. But that's just because I like memes and I like that. What about you guys? Do you have any of the order that you specifically like?
Sorry, is the catalyst specifically in relation to collecting, or is he talking about catalyst for like Omi growth? Or I missed the.
He said it was for NFTs.
Oh, for NFTs. Go ahead, Cavell.
I just try to get something, to be honest. Like I don't have any particular. Yeah, I just like to hold stuff that I feel is going to be valuable. So I just go for anything. I do try to go for low mint sometimes though. Like I try to go for the lowest mint I can find. Like to your question earlier, you asked about the stamps. I did go and buy a second one of those because I do definitely believe in the stamp. So I have 2 of the ultra rares of the stamps. They're all sub 1,000. So I have 2 of those. One is sub 500 as well. So yeah, I bought those. I do believe that that's going to be insanely valuable. I believe that that's going to be one of those topics taught in schools, literally. I feel like our kids, grandkids, further down the line, like this is something that's going to be taught because I feel NFTs is going to impact the world. And the very first time, I mean, what Veve is doing to the NFT space, it's never going to be another company ever to do this again in NFT history. And if NFTs a big a deal as I think it's going to be, they're talking about NFTs going to be every item you buy in the store is going to be an NFT. Every concert you go to is going to be an NFT. Every property you buy, vehicle, like literally everything in the world is going to be an NFT. So if it gets that big, the history behind the government working with Veve, it's just going to be insane. So yeah, I had to get 2 of those because I do believe that we're going that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I primarily like relative to my means, and I've said this a few times, like I'm very much all in on OMI relative to the amount of money that I had to kind of invest in general. So really for me, what it is like I don't have any more money to pump into Veve right now. And it's not because I don't believe in the collectibles. It's just like I just don't have any more money to do it. So for me, it's just about what to flip to pick up more. And I think for me, you know, we talked about blue chips earlier in the stream. I think those are the items, like as a perfect example, I have the rare and the uncommon stamp, and I haven't completed the set yet. I haven't pulled the trigger on the ultra rare, and I probably should have. It was down at like 240 last week during Disney week, but like I literally earmarked all of my available capital to focusing on the golden moments, just because I feel like, you know, the stamps, yes, they're going to be super valuable, and they are. There's absolutely no doubt the stamps are going to be valuable. But for me, like I understand the value proposition of Disney, and I understand where it's going to go. So I've literally like it, and that's also part of the reason, like outside of everything else that I said earlier, like that's also part of the reason I didn't go for decon is this, I was just like if I don't get it on the drop, I'm not going to pick it up in the secondary. I just don't care about it enough to invest additional capital on it. But for the Disney golden moments, I definitely aped and FOMO'd pretty hard into a lot of them, and I'll leave the surprises for when I end up doing my vault review video, which I hopefully get out at some point here in the next week or so. But yeah, I've definitely put, you know, a couple bucks into the Disney NFTs, that's for sure. So
yeah, I as far as AJ, I had one of those. I had the rare extra larges, and I doubled my money, so I sold it. But next year, all the ones that I really like the Apes. And like the Disney moments and all of the Marvel stuff, I will get. I know that short term I might make the wrong decision just because I'm saving just for the chance that maybe Pokemon opens up in December. Yeah. And I know that short term I'm going to lose some unrealized gains here, but you know, Omi will moon next year, and I'll buy everything back then. So I'll be slightly late to the game. I'll pay like 6x what I could be paying right now, maybe even more than that, but that's just what I'm doing. So that's that. Do you guys have any or not? Of the extra large in that 8 game?
No, I don't. I was looking at it because someone tagged me in a post yesterday about it, and like the secret rare is like $6,000. So I mean, that's obviously a no from me. I would rather spend $6,000 on Disney moments personally. Although I do think the collectible looks super cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it looks dope, and that's fine. But I mean, I think even I don't know if it's an uncommon or a rare, but like the black and white one, the highest edition mint is like, last time I saw it, it was like $500. And like, I don't know. Like I've always had an issue regardless of what the collectible is. I made an exception for Disney, but I've always had an issue with competing for something on a drop, not landing it, and then spending, you know, 5 or 10x what I could have spent to buy the same thing. And like I did it with the Ito drop. When Ito came out, I didn't land him on the drop, and I spent like $1,000. I like FOMO'd into it. I was like, he's the only one left that I need for a set. He's just season 1. I'll buy him. And then he went down to like under $600. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so terrible at timing the market when it comes to those types of things that I end up wasting a bunch of money. Like I bought an Iron Man for I mean, he's up now technically, but I bought an Iron Man for over 500 the day of the drop. And then he went all the way down to 280. Apparently I should have subscribed to Cavell's paid service because he probably would have told me I was an idiot. But yeah, I don't know. I do you guys struggle with that at all? Like, do you guys ever look at it like, oh, I could have bought it for this, so I'm not going to buy it for this now?
Not that exact thing. Okay. I kind of doubled down because I bought Iron Man at 490, then went down to 390, so I bought another one, and then went down even further. I was like, I can't, like, how long am I going to keep doing this for? And then it's up. So I sold one of them just to recoup and to save. But I don't. Maybe with Walt, because I saw him at 2,400. I didn't have the 2,400, and now that I finally have a little bit of money, it's like, okay, am I going to spend all of it on Walt? Is he going to 10, like maybe he 10x's, from here and he gets 100,000 by next year, but I don't know.
Yeah. And that's a tough thing, right? Like if I'm buying something on the floor, it's like I feel like the relative up to downside is so good, but like even, and not to harp on the Lincoln skateboard, but I'm just going to use it as an example. Like even if I thought it was valuable to pick it up at $15,000, when it was listed for $25 when it came out, or whatever it was, 50, or it was under 100. It's like, what is the relative downside to the upside, right? And that was the mistake. And the way that I learned it the hard way was the Spider-Man that I sold, right? Like I bought it for 400. It went up to 3,200. It went down to 1,600. I needed gems. Could have sold anything else, but I sold that because I said I can make $1,200 off of this and move on to other things. But the relative downside was it goes back to maybe what I paid for it. Like that was absolute worst case, right? And then you're still not losing money. And the relative upside was, well, we know what even a tenth of what the relative upside is now. So I start to look at things more like that now. Is like, what do I stand to gain versus what do I stand to lose? And that's why, even with Iron Man at, 5, whatever, I think I paid 540 for it. Like, yeah, it sucked, but I knew over time it was going to go up. But like some of these other decon drops or individual artist drops, I think they're super cool. And if I had, an unlimited amount of money, I would pick them up. But like without knowing that I'm, as close to the word guaranteed as I can be to making money off of an investment, I'm just not in a position where I can justify doing it at this point. So
Hat is 4K and Homer and Bart are $8.99.
Who is?
It's moved so much just on this stream.
I can't believe the hat's 4K. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is not.
You know what? And I will say the hat is one that I picked up. I didn't get it on the drop. I picked it up, and I was sitting on the fence, and I remember my buddy, he was texting me, and I was like, yo, you really got to pick this up. And he's, oh no, wait, it's fine. And I was like, okay, dude, that's fine. That's your choice or whatever. And now it's just like, you're not picking one up now. You know what? It's just,
Actually sold the hat. I sold the hat to get some of my other ones from that collection that I didn't get. So I think I got maybe the Star Wars off of flipping that. So
but you're probably basically like, did you get it on drop? Did you get the hat on drop?
I might have. Like I didn't get many of that drop. I think I ended up buying all of that, except for the Iron Man is one that I did get on drop. I think that's like the only one though. Like,
but I'm just trying to think like let's say you paid $400 for the hat and then you sold it for whatever you sold it for, and then you made enough money to pay off that initial investment and buy the Star Wars or whatever. Then you're probably like, even if the hat's at 4K, like if R2
I think I did
get
the hat now. Yeah, because I definitely did.
Yeah, even if R2 is at, whatever, like C3PO is apparently at 1.3, Squid Cat saying, and then R2's at like you're probably relative break even, for selling the hat and getting both of those, and it completes a set. So you get the MCP points and the benefits of that. And it's a fandom that, we haven't seen a lot of the Star Wars, like real, like passionate Star Wars fans come in, and when they come in, similar to Trekkies, like, man, they love their fandom. Like they're gonna pay good money for it. So, and not to say that the hat's not going to be worth anything, but the hat is more like, you're not going to have any like crazy, like, I don't know, Disney nerd come in and be like, I need the hat. You know what I mean? Like it's just more so like people understand what the hat is, so they're buying it based on that value. But
that's a good point.
I ended up buying R2 at 500. Yeah, R2 bought him at 500.
Yeah. I think that's roughly where I bought him at too, or maybe
275 for C3PO. He was down for a while. Like,
nice.
Yeah, got him.
So what do you think that, I forget what stadium was just renamed Crypto.com, but Amway has had the Amway Arena where Orlando Magic play for like 15 years or something, and their licensing is up in next year. Do you think that would be smart for Okomi or Veve to say like, hey, let's spend however much money to play at the Veve Arena?
Yo, that's actually nuts.
I don't know how much Crypto.com or how much Crypto.com paid for that. Do we know?
Oh, it's got to be tens of millions of dollars when you think about it.
Like, crazy sports play, like especially because they're talking about bringing in the NFLPA and all the sports. Like, how else do you get sports fans on your side? Like, everybody's gonna know that name from that.
Yeah,
and you have to take it serious.
Now, I mean, obviously Staples probably wanted to keep that, but oh my God, Crypto.com paid $700 million for the naming rights. So no way is Veve doing that right now.
No chance.
Yeah, there's no way. Staples doesn't have $700 million to do that. But geez, all right. So maybe at some point that'll happen. The arena.
That's absurd. But yeah, that would be like you want to talk about a power move? Like, yeah, that's like.
I mean, what if Disney helps them like that? Like, we can see some stuff. Like, Disney is working pretty close to this team. Like,
yeah,
we've heard the president say something about Veve out of his own mouth. The president of Marvel. Then we've heard the CEO literally almost state what David you would say word for word when he's on an interview talking about his metaverse that's coming out. Like, I mean, I feel like they have a pretty close relationship. I wouldn't be surprised to see something happening there.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. There's a couple of people that have had some mistakes, 5 for 6, 7 for 9. Have you guys been checking out the burn recently? I don't think there's a day where we've had like under 100 million.
Dude, we had 600 million the other day, like 2 days ago or something. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was nuts. It was now here's I hate talking about this because people always go, yeah, but it's not coming out of the circulating supply. It doesn't mean anything, man. And I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. But I think what people fail to recognize and understand is that we have a market cap and then we have a fully diluted market cap. And investors will still look at the fully diluted market cap and say, hey, there's only 1% of tokens in circulation. So yeah, the market cap might look appealing, but once 100% of the market share is in circulation, this is actually a terrible investment because it's not going to go up that much in value. It just looks artificially inflated because of the current circulating supply. So I think the nice thing about burning tokens from the reserve is that once CoinMarketCap and once CoinGecko officially updates those figures, because as we know, CoinMarketCap's numbers are like out to lunch. Like so someone sent me Cavell's video earlier today of him reacting to the 3-cent price prediction. And I want to start off by saying everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and however you come to your own financial predictions is your business. I'm not here to tell you any different. Like, if you believe that Omi's going to be worth 3 cents in 7 years, that's your business. But like, yo, Cavell actually had me like my kidneys hurt, man. It was like he was just saying some stuff.
Price prediction?
No, he was reacting to someone else's video.
Oh,
and it
all
just,
right.
You gotta watch it.
6 hours ago or something, right?
Oh yeah. You
3% in 7 years. Yeah, like it was
man,
hilarious. In 7 years, there's 3% was their price prediction.
Yeah. When he had the calculator out, yeah, Kyle wasn't saying the calculator. Dude, the second he pulled out the calculator and Cavell just started like, oh my god! You ever see like the roasts? They on like television they do like the roasts of like whoever, bro. It was my man murdered this guy. Oh, it was just. I was just sitting there and like I didn't even watch it on 1.5. I watched that whole thing on 1. It was just it was beautiful. But yeah, so anyway, so back to the point of the market cap. So so for market caps, I think it'll be good because once those platforms update the total supply, right? Because if you look at the total market cap, it's technically it's only supposed to be total tokens that will ever enter circulation. And right now it shows 750 billion. And people don't understand that. But I still think it's good if they even, at least at the very least, remove the number of those that are being burned from the reserve that have been taken completely out. Like it's still going to show investors that tokens are being burnt and whatever. And if you don't fully understand the tokenomics, you think it's the most bullish thing in the entire world. And it's still good for the project, but obviously we know that they're going to be integrating a ton of options to burn directly from the circulating supply, which is one of the reasons that I'm so stoked for the OMI utility program article when it comes out, because I think it's going to cover a little bit of all of that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the price of OMI go up quite substantially. And when I say quite substantially, I mean like double digits, like 10, 20%, just based on the news of that. And if it's good and we realize that we're finally going to be able to use our tokens for more than, wiping our butts or whatever, like it's going to be, it's going to be really good for the project. So I got my fingers crossed for it, but 3 cents in 7 years for those of you that are watching is a fairly conservative price prediction. So.
Yeah, conservative is the word.
Fairly conservative.
I think it's 3 cents by next month. So I don't
I think we call next month, obviously December. If we have the MTL in and the migration to immutable is complete and we get it, at least one major exchange listing, by New Year, we'll be over 3 cents. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So
you got to be wise with your investments at the point where you're gonna like try to stay in a project for 7 years to make $40,000. You probably just want to just work at McDonald's for 2 or 3 years. You'll hit that goal way quicker than waiting on OMI to moon for that type of return. So but I also think the circulating supply, when it comes down to it burning from the reserve, I think that another thing people got to realize is the more that reserve dwindles, they're gonna have to do buybacks. Like if that gets down too low, they have to do buybacks so the system stops working. So I mean that is impactful because they haven't done buybacks as of yet. They stopped it. They have some type of new strategy or whatever that they're coming up with, which I'm assuming we're going to get some details about when this article comes out. But eventually, like if we keep burning like we're burning, regardless of if it's hitting the circulating supply, it's going to force their hand. Like it'll force their hand to where this is going to break if we don't buy back. So yeah.
Taps did an AMA with Reese, Dream Decon. And as a part of that conversation, the concept of buybacks came up, and Reese did say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded as though they alluded to the fact that buybacks will be happening again. Like I was under the impression originally that it was paused indefinitely because of regulatory compliance concerns with them being classified as a security. But then Reese went on and he very clearly stated that OMI is a utility token. And I'm almost wondering, and I'm not an expert when it comes to crypto law and everything like that, but I'm almost wondering if they need to wait until they add in some of this utility for the token before they can do buybacks and have it classified as a utility token. Because if buybacks as a form of utility is what they're providing along with XYZ utility on top of it, then it's easy to sell to the SEC, no, this isn't a security, this is a utility token, because every purchase that is made on the VV app, 2.5% of it, whether it's from the primary or secondary market, gets burnt, and the 2.5% that's done on primary purchase is automatically burnt from circulation before VV only even receives their revenue. Therefore, it's not a security because it's just a tax similar to a royalty that they pay licensors and whatever else anyways. So I think that that's actually what's going to happen and what we will see. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to kind of crypto legislation and things of that nature. Yeah. But he seemed like, for him to come out and make a statement that OMI is utility token and buybacks will be restarting at some point, that leads me to believe that they've found a workaround to being classified as a security, whatever that workaround is. And I'm very much excited to see what it is.
That's fair. So I just bought a Avengers logo because that was about to go over $1,000. I completed the set, and I'm trying to sell my skateboard, but skateboard's not letting me sell. I don't know why. because I wanted to still keep the same amount of gems. But
oh, because I was gonna say you said you were trying to hold on to your hold on to your
yeah. I mean, I still have 2 homers, 2 Homer and Barts, but I want to keep those as opposed to the skateboard. And they're about 900, so I figured I would. That's just my.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to sell the skateboard. It's doing pretty well. I think I have a couple multiples of the different Disney moments, but once again, like I know if I sell them right now, I'm gonna look back in 3 months and be like, "You were a paper handing little beep," and like I just know it. I'm gonna look back and be like, "Dude, why did you sell that at that price?" So that's where my struggle is. So
yeah,
I think you probably should probably wait until they announce this next drop that's going to be coming, because the market really is going to go down depending on the information that they release about what's coming. The prices of a lot of this stuff is going to go down. That's what I was just going to buy something, but that's what made me stop. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait till everything tanks, because yeah, I mean that's how the community is. Like that's the same thing that happened with Disney, except for Disney was a whole nother level. I don't expect to see another one of those. Well, depends on what they actually announced. To be fair, like if they announced like every single Avenger or something crazy, like yeah, you never know what happens, or every single X-Men.
Well, and I thought Iron Man, if anything, was going to be the thing that tanked, but of course we've already had our FA Iron Man now, so it's obviously not going to be that, and I think it'd be really dumb for them to release something like Iron Man. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they release. But I mean, even at that, like I never really understood why 90% of the community dumps all their collectibles to get a 1% chance at getting, you know what I mean? Like it just, I don't personally understand it, but at the same time,
they're new. Like they're new to investing. This is them trying to make money, trying to figure out how to come up and making dumb decisions. But I mean, they'll learn. Like most people can't hold through like the down times. I don't know. Like it's weird. Like it's just the beginner investment. I did the same thing. I made the same type of decisions when I first invested in Netflix. My very first shot at investing, and it's just one of those things you got to go through and keep making mistakes until you know better. Yeah.
And I think it's important to like you said, we all make mistakes. And that's why I made that video about me selling the Spider-Man. Like, even though I'm never going to live it down, like Omi could become $10 and I could have, $100 million and my collectibles could be worth tens of millions. People are still going to be commenting, hey, but you sold your Spider-Man for $1,600, you idiot. Like it's going to happen. Right. So, but I think it's important to try and do our best to educate the community. Cause like you said, we have a lot of new people coming into the community. And I think all of our channels have experienced, pretty significant growth. I mean, like I've more than doubled in subscribers in the last 2 weeks. And for a channel my size, that was still a lot of people, right? Like it's crazy to see some of the stuff that's been going on. And obviously Cavell, I think you're hitting on almost 12K now, and Randy's over 6K, I think. And, I think it's really interesting. I had someone reach out to me yesterday and they're like, all of you guys are going to have over 100,000 subscribers one day. And I was like, I don't think so.
That
and he's
seems like so much.
And that's what I said. I was like, and I mean, and Cavell, like, I mean, you know what it's like to have that many subscribers. You have a channel that has that. But for me, like I could never picture, like we have 200 people in the chat right now, which it still boggles my mind. But I could never picture be sitting here talking to you guys and having like 5,000 or 10,000 people watching us. Like I'd just be like,
we wouldn't be able to keep up with the super chats. Like there would be no.
Well, then we'd be hosting them on my channel if that was the biggest issue. Just
we could do that. But I mean, that would be, and that's something that I obviously hope happens, but it's also like I would lose the FaceTime with a bunch of other people on here that I just love, and I wouldn't be able to. I mean, some of these like Grandmaster Mawa and Brendan Z, they crack me up. They crack me up. But I mean, as Omi goes to the moon, people are gonna be like, oh, who's going on Veve and Omi, and they're gonna be coming to us, and so. God,
does that responsibility ever stress you out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I started this, and not that I started, I mean, when I started the YouTube thing, I thought it was just going to be about Pokemon and then maybe Tesla, and then I got into Earth 2, and then I got into this, and I didn't think I'd get this big this soon. I thought maybe, X amount of years from now, maybe, but yeah, now a bunch of people especially meeting people at DesignerCon, you guys feel like celebrities when you go to the next one. Like, oh my God, I watch you all the time. Like my kids watch you. Like we listen to every word you say, and I have a couple people that watch every single thing I do, and it's like, I don't know how you have that much time, but I feel like I can't. I can't mess up, like, because if I do, then that affects certain people. Like, I don't care if what I do affects me negatively, but if it affects somebody else, that like that hurts. Like Potsy Weber, I know you're looking at. You think that, because we have really good news right now, there's a lot of bullish people in here, and a bunch of us, collectively have put a lot of money into the app, or Omi and Pags before, but we're not on exchanges yet. So I think break 0.009 by Friday is a little out of reach right now. Once we get exchanges, to the moon.
I think we're still going to have quite a bit of resistance at 0.008. I think.
The 8.3, the 8.5.
Yeah, the 8.2, 8.3 level. I think we're still going to have quite a bit of resistance. But I think with news of an exchange or something like that, we'll probably do pretty well. Cavell, I got to ask you, while we're here talking to 209 people, like, how did you, or how have you managed that on your main channel? For those of you that don't know, Cavell has another channel that he did for gaming, which is quite a bit larger than the channel that he currently has now. How many subs did you have there, Cavell? It's like 350K or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you manage that expectation? Because that's I started YouTube, genuinely, and I know people have their own opinions of me and whatever, that's fine, but I literally started this because I had a core group of friends at work that would ask me the same question 10 times in a day, and I got tired of answering the same question 10 times, and I was like, just let me make a video, and then if you have you can just watch it and whatever. So that's why I started. And I remember the first night, my very first video getting 800 views, and I was freaking out. I was going to my wife and I was like, oh my God, look, I got 800 views, it's amazing, whatever. And then when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that was the biggest thing that had ever happened to me in my entire life. The fact that 1,000 people, and when people throw around numbers hey, you'll have 10,000 or 100,000 subs one day, to me, I don't think it's going to change my approach to anything, but I do feel like it raises the threshold of stress where people are relying on you to provide them with quality information and content. And as someone who puts out 10 videos a day, I mean, you know that pressure. So I'm just curious, have you ever, you seem like a pretty cool cat. Does it ever really phase you at all? Or
cool cat?
Not really. I mean, I guess a bit of ego's involved. I feel like anything I talk about is valuable. So I guess it does take that. But the reason that I feel so confident about the things that I talk about is because I do a ton of research, and I put my own money on the line. I put everything that I have on the line, and I know I'm not going to risk myself. So I feel like other people can feel comfortable listening to my perspective, because I'm doing what's best for me ultimately, but I'm also letting people know so they can make decisions off of that information and stuff, so they can do what's best for them. So I know that I'm always giving it my all. So yeah, it's never really I'm never really concerned if you don't see it. I mean, when I first came to the community, I used to argue with everybody all the time. Because it's passion, but it gets to a point where it's especially with this private group, it's I can't justify arguing with you all day. I have a whole private group that's counting on me to give them advice, show them how to do certain things. And honestly, that private group has helped me a lot in that way, that it's made me mature. It's forced me to mature. It's do I spend an hour arguing with this idiot, or do I give them something valuable who's actually paying for my time? So
that's a good point.
And it's just, it forces me.
At some point, we have a bunch, Cavell will relive those days where he gets, a 50K, 100K subscribers. But for me, I've always, I have a Patreon just because some people that want to donate a little extra, be whether it's $1 a month or have the family and friends tier is $100 a month. I don't give the Patreon members any extra, the $100 a month, they can text me whenever they want, but I don't really give them any extra, private videos, oh, this is only for my Patreon members. Because at the end of the day, I think I've had this kind of almost naive goal, information should probably be free. And I don't want to force, let's say when I have 100,000 subscribers, if that ever happens, some new person coming in is hey, can you teach me? And it's I have, and at that point, I have 20,000 messages a day. I'm you have to, I don't want to tell that person you have to pay for it. How are you guys going to try to keep up with new people and help new people out at that point? Do you just pick pass the buck to somebody, to another YouTuber that's newer that only has like 500 to 800 subscribers?
Well, so and that's the problem with the time value of money, right? Like as much as I think any of us would love to spend all day helping people out as much as we can. Like, I mean, Randy, for you personally, like you're retired, right? So like if you want to stream 8 hours in a day, like you can do that. That's fine. Cavell's on his grind. Like this is his livelihood. Yeah. And for me, content creation is by no means a livelihood or a means of generating revenue. Now, I will say I'm very grateful and fortunate that I am now monetized on YouTube, and I do have that source of income that is being generated. I mean, it's not a lot of money or anything. I don't put out a ton of content, but I do have that available to me currently. But I think the issue that we're going to run into, like right now, my Twitter, like I just posted, like I have 3,000 people on Twitter. But if you look at the amount of people that I follow, like up until I hit about 2,000 subscribers or followers or whatever it is on Twitter, like I was following every single person that followed me. Like I didn't even look at the profile, didn't look at anything. Like I'd follow them and then I'd look back and be like, okay, I followed like some like sex bot like thing, like weird thing. So like I wasn't even paying attention. It was just like, oh, people want to follow me, I'll follow them. You know what I mean? And like, so I think now, like, and I don't know if people take it personally and they're just like, oh, like he thinks he's too big or whatever. Like I don't. Like if you look at my DMs, they're still open for anyone. Like anyone can message me on Twitter. And let alone today, like I've had 8 or 9 people reach out to me to ask me questions about the project. Like even while we've been talking here, I've been responding to people that have questions about the project and stuff. Like I do my best that I can to get back to people as often as I can about the project. But I think, and I could be wrong, but I think it's unrealistic once you hit a certain threshold to expect the information that you're able to provide to be able to be prioritized to everyone that is asking for it. And what I mean by that is, and I don't have and I don't know, maybe after I'm done this conversation, you guys should let me know. Like, I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any things set up. Like I don't have anything set up like that. Like, I don't know, maybe I should or something. I don't know. But for me, I respond to as many people as I can, as often as I can. But the problem is I'm answering the same question 20 times a day. Yeah. The same person. So like for me, I don't think that I would make it. Like if I was to make a Patreon, I don't think I'd make it that it was $50 a month and then I'm just milking you for cash. Yeah. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with providing content and information. Not to say that you can only give it to them if it's paid. Like I have no problem continuing to make YouTube videos, but I think like you can dedicate, like if people are paying you, then it's a job. Then you give them the effort that you can as a job. Right now I'm in the community because I love the community and I love giving people information, doing whatever. But I have to balance that at some point because if I have 20,000 people following me on Twitter, there's only so many private messages that I can answer in a day for fun about the same thing before my wife goes, okay, you need to put the phone down and focus on what. So like if I can dedicate a certain period of time to, hey, this is my job and I need to do it, and then participate in the community for the things that I want to participate in the community in, then I would love to be able to do that. But even what I'm struggling with right now, even with 3,000 people, is like, I feel obligated to get back to every single person. And at the end of the day, my Twitter is my own personal Twitter. Like I don't get paid to use it. No one pays me to reach out to me. And I struggle with that because it's like, I feel bad if I don't respond to someone within 20 minutes or whatever, because that's just the type of person that I am. So if I was to create a Patreon or something, it would be an area where people could feel as though they could reach out to me and ask me all those questions. And I would lock up my other socials to be the things where I still share my thoughts, but that I don't feel inundated to the point where I can't provide that level of information or value to people, if that makes sense.
That's exactly what it was for me. Like that's no matter what size you're at, that's a hard thing to get over. Like feeling the need, especially if you're a good person, to just respond to everybody, talk to everybody, even the trolls. Because part of me feels like I don't actually care about the trolls and people who hate me and stuff like that. Honestly, I feel bad for them more so than anything. I'm like, they need help more than anything because they're like, because of their mindset or something. But so I try to save everybody, I feel like. And it's just now I can really delegate my time or focus my time more so towards the people who deserves my effort and energy. I do still have like tendencies from my bigger channel because I would have like sometimes 4,000 people in the stream, or like I'll get hundreds of messages a day and you just can't respond to everything. So I feel like my private group has allowed it so I can still talk to people, build relationships and things like that. And really, the people who really are diving in, and they have similar mindsets as well, because if you're paying your money to get some extra value and extra benefits, you're serious about what you're doing. So that, like, having these people to be able to communicate with, I feel like it's a lot more valuable there, because you don't have to fight through the trolls or any of the noise and things like that you really have to when you're on these free forums. Now, I never sacrifice my content, but there's always things that I don't say on YouTube. There's some things that I can't say, some things that I can't go into. I don't have enough time to go into detail about, because I can talk about some things all day, and then I talk off the top of my head. So some things I just forget to say. But most of my videos now, I always talk about what's going on with the private group first before the information gets out there, and then I put it on YouTube next. But it's just those little things. Those little things can mean a lot to people. And it can teach people a lot, because they can then come in your DMs and ask you questions. Okay, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels like you still get that connection, but it also makes sense to be putting this type of effort and energy in, because I'm not rich. I'm still trying to make my way up. I'm still trying to change my life, change my family's lives and things like that. I still have my own goals to work towards. So while I do care about everybody else and I do want everybody to win, I still have to do what's best for me as well. So
True.
I'm like at the point where I'm like just super successful millionaire stuff. Okay, I may just sit around on the free forums and stuff and talk all day, but right now I'm not at that level. My bed's behind me. I don't have an office, so like I still got some work to do.
I think that's what it boils down to, right? Like for me, it's a balance of, I want to provide more content because I think it's valuable to the community. So I do my best to produce content, but I'm under no obligation to produce content, right? Like at the end of the day, like if I just stop making videos and disappeared off the face of the earth, like Omi's going to continue to go on, Vivi's going to continue to go on, that's fine. And I'm very grateful that people find my content valuable and want to watch it, and I want to continue to be able to produce that content. But if I'm able to produce additional revenue sources, and I think Cavell, especially recently, you've done a great job of doing that and leveraging your brand and focusing on the merch that you're putting out and having your private group. And I know Randy has his Patreon, and I'm just starting, and that's an interesting conversation. So I'm starting to brainstorm now, because I had a couple of people randomly like reach out to me and they're like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. And like, I'm never that type of guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you want to give me money, great. Like, I'm never going to say no, but I'm not that guy to come out and be like, hey, can you give me money, please? Like, I'm not that guy. It makes me very like socially awkward and whatever. So I never want to assume that people want to pay for the content that I'm putting out. So like, maybe I'll explore it and I'll look at putting something together, and then I'll just put a link down somewhere. And if people want to join it, they can join it. And I'll look at, producing value for people where I can find it. I still, to this day, anytime I get a donation on a stream, I get I don't know how to process it. Like, I don't, to me, like,
you're so Canadian.
You know what it is? It's like to me, like it's like to see like, and I'm not saying that anyone needs to give me money, but it's like telling me that you really appreciate me and then giving me money. Like, to me, I value both equally. You know what I mean? Like, if you just tell me like, thank you so much for what you do. And that's why when people reach out to me and they DM me and they're like, hey man, I watch your content, I absolutely love it. Like, thank you so much. And then they ask me a question. I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta spend half an hour answering you because you sucked up to me. And I'm just like, God. Like,
yeah, that's how they get you, bro. Like these people come up to me at Decon, and you guys will get it if you go to the next one, just like, hey, I love you. Like, and they're looking up to you, and it's like, oh, like you just get emotional. It's so strange. It's so interesting.
It's no feeling like it. I mean, it's just a feeling that you can't explain. I think at any size you still get the same feeling. Like, I don't have an ego as much as people like to say it. I mean, obviously there's some level of an ego. I'm confident. I feel like I'm more confident than ego. I was like unsure. Like, even when I started my private group, it was unsure. Like, it's weird. It is weird selling your value to people when you've been giving it for free for 10 years. And that's how long I've been on YouTube, giving value in multiple different ways. So it's like waiting for that first person to sign up. Is that first person ever going to sign up? And then going from waiting on one person, wondering if one person was going to sign up, to that one person really being the first person to sign up. That hits you, because that's emotional. It's like, this is the first person. This is the one guy. They believe in me like this. They really like, it's crazy. And then to go from that to 200 plus, it's just ridiculous. And
my man Elijah Horst is the first person to ever believe in me.
It's not like the first, man. And
love that.
It touches you. It touches you, and then it continues to touch you with every person that joins. Because then you look up and you see a big number like 200. Like it's like that's crazy. Like these people have spent more time with me than my dad has. Like, and that's the type of stuff that I think about. Like my dad was never there. Like so to really, they have given me more money than my dad ever has. So when I think about stuff like this, it's like, wow, these people, and we all have the same goal. We have the same mindset or similar mindsets and stuff. And it's a beautiful thing, to be completely honest.
Yeah. I've seen that with, and I swear there's a connection, but I've seen that with strippers where I used to work in a strip club, and these young girls that I guess the old people that were like the old guys that would come in there, I've literally seen them buy these girls cars. And I think it's maybe because they don't have family, or if they do have family, they don't talk to them. I think some people take on they have this weird, like almost like mother hen or taking care of you fantasy. Like maybe they don't have a real good relationship with their own son, be like, son I never had, or like I'm not saying that's what we have, but on the opposite end of that, would you ever make I don't know if you guys have ever seen Roast Me on Reddit. Would you ever make a Patreon or something where they pay $10 a month to throw shit, just insult you, just be like, I hate your face, and I hope you eat dirt, and I hope you're like.
I mean, do I have to check it, or can I just generate the revenue from it and just leave it up and running?
I guess that would be something I would totally make a Patreon only video, where I just read the nasty comments that people are.
Yo, yeah, like Twitter, like the Twitter comments that Jimmy Fallon gets them to read or whatever when celebrities read mean tweets or whatever.
I would want people to destroy. I did this once on Facebook, and I was like, I just want you to insult me. Because I like the funny stuff, and it was like, I would love to make fun of your military career, but I'm saving that for the day where you come home in a flag draped coffin. And I was like, oh.
Wow, that's real grim.
And just stuff like that you don't hear, but it's from like your buddies that you just love to.
That's like, that stuff terrible. Is funny. Oh my god.
So I actually got a dark sense of humor too. So
yeah.
I do too, but that's still like woo.
Yeah, especially like a veterans page would be really fun like that. So I would love to do that. Just shout out to Crypto Chris, who's asking.
I think it's a great idea. Cavell, I wanted to comment on one thing that you said, because I think it's very interesting, right? Like, you spent 10 years producing content for people, and now you've created this members only platform that you try and give as much value to. I think what people lose, especially in an industry like this, is that if you, and not to knock it, because I obviously do my best to produce the best content that I have, and I don't have another means right now, but if you give 100% of the value to every single person for free, I would argue that it is no longer as valuable. And what I mean by that is, like, hey, go buy the OMI token. Here's how you buy it. Okay, that's fine. You make the decision. That's cool. Whatever. Hey, this collectible is being released tomorrow based on historical data and this, and this. It's likely to go down to this and be listed at this. Don't buy it at this price. Pick it up at this price, and then it can go to this price. If you give every single person on the platform that information, it's no longer valuable. Because once everyone knows something, then it's not valuable, because you can't leverage it because every single person knows it. So then it becomes, okay, well, I know it's going to go down to this much, so I'm going to sell it this much. And then the next person knows it, and they're like, well, no, I'm going to go down to this much. So, like, to me, having a group where you can provide value based on your experience in the field, like, I would consider ourselves, like my wife at work, she is a subject matter expert. That is her role, right? She knows a lot of information about that one specific role. So for me, like, I would classify us as subject matter experts in the community. Now, are we the only subject matter experts? No, there's a ton of content creators that produce great content. There's a ton of people in the community that don't produce content that have, great insight and whatever. But I would argue that common sense and knowledge in the community is not as common. right? So like if you give it to every single person and level the playing field entirely, that's great, but it's really not still a level playing field because the people that are smart enough to take advantage of the information that you provided are still going to take advantage of that information. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with you providing additional value and insight to individuals that believe that the information that you're going to provide is valuable, right? Like it, and even if it's not, even if they just want to do it to support you and hang out with you, that's perfectly fine as well. But yeah, that's the only thing that I think. Like my channel right now, it's far too small for like my channel in and of itself is the value group because it's so niche. Like I get like a couple thousand videos of my views, right? But like if I had, you know, like if I was pulling Andre Jick numbers, it wouldn't make any sense. Like I'm not going to give you the key because then everyone has the key and it's no longer the key. It's just another thing.
Yeah,
at least in my
that's
opinion.
the thing that you gotta. That's the thing that I battle with my content now. It's like keeping that like because I'm just genuine. I'm a genuine person. I don't try to manipulate people, anything like that. So finding that line between, okay, you pay for this value, you get this information that I have for you early and things like that without feeling bad that, okay, like, because I've already been accused that, oh, Cavell, you're changing. All you care about is money now. You gotta it's I'm already seeing those comments, but at the same time, it's like these people care enough to pay for value, and then they're using this value and they're getting gains. Like people talking about, I've 10x my money here, I've done this, and seeing people give me these messages and knowing that they're getting value from it, it's no feeling like it. But I do have to sometimes put like it's like, for instance, if I don't attempt to move markets, I don't attempt to do anything like that, but I know that if I'm covering a video and I'm talking about the most valuable things that I collect, chances are some of the prices can move. So it's like finding that balance between, okay, is it scummy that I give the private group this information? They have access to the list that I'm going to put out. Then they utilize this information before I make the video. I make the video so they make profits. Then it's almost that gray area that I just pump the price for my private group. But it's not. It's like being able to rationalize and get like, this is what I truly believe. I've been collecting this stuff since they came out. So it's like finding that moral ground that you're okay with and comfortable with and really understanding. It's like you have to accept who you are and who you're not and know that it's going to come with some level of backlash. I think it's the most difficult. It's part of the most difficult things, and staying true to yourself and making sure, like, because I easily feel like shit sometimes if somebody says, oh, you just pumped the price or something like that. It's never my intention. I can't help that. If I tell you my collection and what I truly believe in, I can't help that that's going to pump the price. I can't help that I know it, and I can't help that these people choose to pay for that information before you get it. That's just how it all goes.
That's a good point. I would have like right now when they're asking about Professor Utonium, I don't have him anymore. I will probably get him again next year when Omi moons, and especially when at one point when I try to get every single collectible from the first series or from that first season, I'll get him. So. And again, so I'm talking, I can say this now as I'm talking kind of against myself. I think that reaches 10K next year at some point, because you have all these people with not only the people that are rich in ETH, but the people that have a couple million OMI and maybe they have other investments and they're like, well, what's the point of having this type of money if you're not going to spend it? And you know, a bunch of people that have OMI are going to spend it as well. So I would say that goes up. But if I had already had, you know, 3 Professor Utoniums, I don't know if I can say the same thing. Yeah, it's going to 5x by next year. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
What do you think gives Professor Utonium value in the first place? Is it Powerpuff Girls? Is a big fandom? And because like I'll be honest with you, like I own Series 1, but I don't have any of Series 2. Like I obviously,
I mean, it's the series with the lowest mint ever. Like I mean, the most mint on it is Bubbles with 600, and a lot of people that would really like to, let's say, set up a story, let's say like a panel of comic books or just panels or whatever, they might want the Professor because he's the one that tucks them in at night. He's the one that, you know, accidentally knocks in the chemical X. So again, not a lot of mints, and he's a little nostalgic. I mean, obviously Bubbles, Blossom Buttercup are more, but
is the Powerpuff Girls, like, are they still making the series, or has that been
yes and no? They ended it for like 15 years and then they brought it back, and I think the new one that's still going. And that's where Donnie's from.
Yeah, they got one that goes on YouTube, and honestly, I think Donnie is part of the thing that's going to drive the value of the other collection. I think that at a certain point, like honestly, Disney was the gateway to this stuff taking place. I feel like because Disney is making it so the edition numbers are less, they matter a lot less. So the fact that Donnie already has this value, and people probably aren't as attracted to that other set because of edition sizes, comparing it to the second one. Now people are more open to, okay, Donnie's valuable, so these might be valuable as well. So I feel like more people would be willing to invest now that barrier has been broken with this Disney drop. So I definitely think we can see those rise in value. Or for sure. Even though I did just sell mine, I sold my whole collection to get Dragon Girl, and that tank I bought at 2,000. So that's not good right now, but hopefully she goes up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the professor will go up in value, but once again, it's just about the priorities, right? Like if you can't own everything, like what's the thing that you're going to focus on that you think is going to make you the most money? And as much as I would love to have the professor, like I'll never buy a Donnie because I can never afford a Donnie, right? So like to me, like what is your incentive of buying the professor if you can't finish the set? And if there's only 150 people that can ever finish the set, then why are you buying the professor, right? Like so.
But that's because you care about completing sets. I feel like not everyone's going to care. They might just be like, I don't care about Donnie. He's we know he is, but and they might just like that for that. I mean, I like.
But how much is the professor right now?
2,200.
2,200. Okay. I mean,
it's up to like 69 at one point, and then
so I mean, it's possible that people like him $2,200 much, but once again, like the value proposition of money, do you like him $2,200 enough that you wouldn't rather get 2 Elsas or a C-3PO and a Iron Man?
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
If you do, then buy him right now. Like that's totally fine. I support you. But once again,
should I sell bubbles? Should I sell my hymn? I was going to sell my hymn for Omi. Nobody hit me up for that one though. But should I do? I mean, that's a good point. I mean,
what's him going to go to in a year? Honestly. And I'm not saying it because I have anything negative against him or because I'm a Disney fanboy, but like, what is him going to go for in a year?
Disney has way more upside.
Yeah, I think 30 to 50,000.
Really? I don't know anything about him. Like, I'll be honest. Like I said, like in that regard, like if you genuinely believe he's going to go to 30 or 50K, then yeah, you probably keep him. For me, I look at it and I go, okay, yeah, this is $11,000. Cool. What else can I buy for $11,000? And if I had $11,000, I might look at something else. But if you think that he's a cool character or whatever, he's going to go up in value, then hold him. Like you had 3 of them, right? So like but you pulled the profit out of that and you've moved it into other things. So maybe you hodl the last one.
It's a good point. Maybe I should. I mean, I would have to buy him back anyway just to complete that original first series, first season. That's
you don't need any more Omi, Randy. Like you don't
want it.
Like, you don't need any more Omi, man. Like just if you're selling it to buy other collectibles, that's one thing. You don't need more Omi.
I want it.
Omi is already your homie.
I know it. I just want more. I mean, if there's if there's a way that, let's say next year, I don't need to sell any Omi, or I could just sell my NFTs that moon, I would rather do that instead of, because I'd rather sell those than the Omi, because I think, like I said, Omi's got a lot more upside. But I don't know when to, whether we're in a super cycle or if this ends, let's say in like May or June of next year, and then I have to hodl another like 3 or 4 years before we go to like $1, which I think we will at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not as bullish as Crypto Rain that thinks $1 by next year, but who knows?
I am curious to see what a bear market is going to do to the token, because I think the utility of the token is being slept on quite a bit for a bear market. I think that a bear market is actually very advantageous for the token, and so I think if let's say we went up to 5 cents by April of next year, and then we dropped all the way back down to a penny, well, now we're burning, 500% more OMI relative to what we would have been burning if we were at 5 cents.
Dude,
So,
that'd be insane.
you know what I mean? And like with the introduction of the VeVeverse and stuff, like there is the most beautiful thing about the tokenomics for this project is like, unless Veve, like if Veve goes to, then yeah, all bets are off. But like if Veve is firing on all cylinders, you don't need crypto investors to invest in the token for it to move. Like it's just not needed. Like there's going to be so much real world utility for the token that you don't need anyone in crypto in it. So I don't think a crypto, not to say that it's not going to be affected by a crypto bear market. It will go down like all the other, but like you don't need OMI as a crypto to be successful in the crypto space, because
that's in the future though. In the future, like I don't think the crypto side is going to impact it whatsoever. I think that we're going to have so many members, like, you get 10 million people with OMI utility, and you're not going to be able to affect it with the crypto side. That's why I believe this token is. Yeah, that's
this has never happened before.
Exactly, and that's always my argument when it comes down to the bear market. People talk about what happens in the bear market. You get 10 million people on this app using OMI that don't know anything about crypto. They don't know a bear market exists. They don't stop buying because we're in a bear market.
Oh my God, that's a good point. Oh man,
look at the download numbers for Pokemon Go. Let's pretend that in the back end of Pokemon Go, the little credits or whatever that you purchased were done via the OMI token, or they were the OMI token.
That's a
look at the download numbers for the last 4 years when we were in a crypto bear cycle or whatever, and tell me that they were at all affected by the crypto market.
That's oh my God, that's I did not think of it.
And that's one license that, granted, not confirmed yet, but that is likely to happen.
This is just new information for me.
We always have this conversations from a crypto background, right? And I know Cavell's made a ton of videos about it and whatever, but like we always say like, oh, because of crypto, this is going to happen. But what people need to recognize is that it doesn't matter what happens in crypto if 100 million people are on the Veve app, because they don't care about crypto. They don't need to know about crypto. They just need to buy collectibles. They don't need to know about NFTs. They don't need to know about interoperability. They don't need to know about a MetaMask. They don't need to know about gas costs. Like they just need to know that they plug their credit card in on their phone or on the web operating system when it comes out, and they can buy collectibles. And oh, hey, I can get this collectible for 10% cheaper because I buy this thing called the OMI token, and in a money transmitter license automatically facilitates that purchase for me. Okay, cool. I guess I'll buy this OMI token thing. I don't care because I get the collectible either way.
I think Dan brings up.
I mean, but anything in a recession, anything is going to take a hit. Yeah. So that's not even really like a bear cycle. I don't feel like every bear cycle is a recession.
That's a good point.
That's an extreme example, and even still, I can make the argument during a recession, people are going to be depressed as hell, so they need something to fill their time with. Why not Veve?
That's also a good point. I mean, when we had the 2020 giant market dip, I fully expected Pokemon, like no one's going to want to collect Pokemon cards. Like everyone's going to want to, and I thought it would flood the market, but the opposite happened. People were home and people got unemployment and it shot up. So I think if there's a big recession, people are home, Joe Biden's in office, Democrats run things, they're going to hand out money left and right. People are going to be like, oh, collectibles. And also the fact that, Dan, you just kind of answer your own question. When you lose your job, and let's say you do need to pay for expenses, and you said you're going to dump collectibles, that doesn't mean that OMI goes down. Although I think, OMI would probably go down as well if you lose your job and you had to sell something. Yes, there's going to be people like that. But we're also thinking about stuff that's high end. And I'm not saying that some of these, not all of these, only a small amount of these will be really high end collectibles. But if you're spending $100,000 on a collectible or tens of thousands of dollars, you probably don't need that money. You probably have a good amount of safety. And I've seen that before in Pokemon where people are spending tens or hundreds of thousands and they're not letting those go during recessions. If anything, they're the ones buying more. But again, I do agree, a lot of people that are coming in expecting to, but again, it's the people that lose their jobs that need money. They're not buying that much OMI or collectibles in the first place. Whatever little that they buy, they'll sell that. So I do disagree with that slightly.
And then the VeVeverse is going to be designed to be could be designed to be B2B as well. So you could have like sponsorships, like on your property. You could buy property on land in the VeVeverse, and then the money and what could be burning the token could be coming from businesses. You got Amazon who wants to add run on this property in front of Disney. You have Hulu who wants to add run right here. Like you could literally have businesses funding the VeVeverse as well.
So do you think a Comey would say, hey, we'll take the cash for you to run advertisements, or will they say you can run as many ads as you want, but you have to pay an OMI?
What if they set up a way that they could like what they're doing with the people, where they pay with a credit card or something and it automatically converts it to OMI and takes it from the circulating supply? If they set up more utility like this, it changes the game. And this is what I mean when I say the VeVeverse. We don't know how much OMI is going to burn. If they get, of course they're gonna need liquidity. They're gonna need like USD, of course. But
this is why I need more OMI, Foster. This is 100% why I need more OMI.
So I just want to respond to Dan's comment, and because I think it's funny. Dan and I always get in spirited debates about certain things.
I love you guys so much.
Yeah, it's funny. And I also, it kind of ties into Nancy's comment. Nancy says I'm spoiled AF and want people to blind invest. I guess just to respond to that, like I could give a shit less if anyone invests in OMI. I'm just going to straight up say that right now. Like I could care less if anyone invests in OMI at this point. Like it makes no difference to me. And that kind of ties into what Dan said. And the reason being, and if you're not already aware of the tokenomics, or you are, but don't understand the implications, when OMI price is up, the burn is down. Because it costs less OMI relative to the price of whatever is being purchased to be burnt. When OMI price is down, it costs more OMI because it takes more OMI to meet that level of burn. So the great thing about the tokenomics is that you always have a source of buy and burn pressure on the token itself. And that is, if OMI stays under a penny and people continue to buy collectibles, it will drastically burn the reserve wallet and, with whatever implementations they bring in, the circulating supply. So to actually answer your question, Nancy, I don't want people to invest in the OMI token. I want people to buy VeVe collectibles. And the reason that I want you to buy VeVe collectibles is because I want the price to stay really low, and then we burn 1 billion OMI a day out of the circulating supply. And then in about 3 months, I want you to come in and buy the OMI token, because you're going to buy it off of me when I'm selling it to you at $1. And that's not, and I get that I'm being a dick right now, but honestly, right? Like, understand that when I explain these things to you, this is my entire life. I have my entire life savings invested in this project, and this is my family's future. So if you're going to come and make a comment like that, make sure you know what you're talking about. I'm just going to say it straight up. And if people don't like it, that's totally fine. I'm a very friendly and nice guy, but like, understand what you're talking about, right? And so to Dan's comment, and just to reiterate it, it may not be recession proof in the sense that if people need to sell their collectibles, they will sell their collectibles. But once again, you're only selling collectibles if people are willing to buy them. And if people are willing to buy your collectibles, the industry will continue to be successful. How many collectibles do we have on the app right now versus the amount of users that we have? Because I promise you, when we have 100 million users on the platform, there will not be enough collectibles for the amount of people that want to purchase them. And you can sell them, and they're immediately going to be bought up and then relisted, not for lower, but for higher, because the demand will always outstrip the supply. And that is what is unique about this project. And that's why it's going to be successful, regardless of whether they ever implement token utility, which, by the way, newsflash, is coming. So yes, it hasn't come yet, and it sucks that it's not here yet. But once again, I invested my money in people that can do with it what I know that they're going to do, and that I don't have to worry about it. None of us need to make any of this content. We could all just be chilling at, having this conversation privately. We don't need to have this conversation for anyone else. We all know this stuff already. It's not a surprise to any of us. But if we think it's valuable to the community, so we're trying to share that with everyone. We've been going at this for 3 hours. Like, I don't have to be here right now, right? Like, I do it because I think it's valuable, and I think the community stands to benefit from it, right? So if you disagree, that's totally fine, but give a reason.
And just so we know, I don't think we ever said that this was recession proof, like it won't take a hit at all. I think I said before, it might go down 40-50%, while others go down 80 to 90%, but then it moons like it'll recover. I've seen this before, stock market, everything goes down, but really innovative, disruptive industries don't go down as much, and they recover faster. And those types of bear markets, those types of recessions are huge catalysts for those types of industries, and they flourish. So these, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll sell a little bit of OMI. We go at like 30 cents, 40 cents, and then hope we go down to 10 cents and then just rebuy back in. I don't know what I would do.
But I think Foster does make a good point though. Like at the point where we're in the middle of a recession, who's buying $100,000 Donnie? And if somebody can afford to buy $100,000 Donnie, like nobody's going to be able to offload their collectibles on somebody else, because who's going to have the money for that if we're in a recession? So it's like everybody's assets are going to be trapped essentially, or it's going to continue to thrive because you're going to have people willing to buy, which is going to keep the system moving and working and pumping. So I feel like, and plus people are going to have something to do, and you have to realize the majority of the money is not going to, VeVe have said themselves, this is the gift shop we have right now. We have a gift shop. So when we talk about the VeVeverse, the experience, how money is generated through these experiences, the VeVeverse is going to have its own ecosystem, its own money coming in. So you can't really compare it to sales of collectibles and flipping Donnies and Mickey and Waltz and all stuff. You can't compare it to stuff like that, because there's going to be so much more in the VeVeverse that people do, and so many more streams of income, like working with businesses and having maybe a Net or Disney Plus subscriptions running through the VeVeverse, through a movie theater or something. It's just going to be different experiences throughout the VeVeverse, and I don't think that that's going to change because it's a recession. If anything, I think people are going to spend more time in there to escape the recession, and the fact that if this VeVeverse is done like I think that it's going to be done, you'll be able to actually make money being in the VeVeverse. So if you can make money from the VeVeverse and enjoy yourself and stay away from the real world troubles, why wouldn't you spend even more time in there?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If I have I am not good at making my showroom or my vaults look amazing. Some people have wicked, amazing talent for it. And if I want to flex in the VeVeverse and I want my home to look absolutely bananas when people go in and they just give that Tom Cruise, like, whoa, I want to hire someone that's really good like that. And so jobs will be created in the VeVeverse for stuff like that. And if you say like, oh, well, there's already somebody doing that. Okay, well, if there's already multiple people doing that and you create competition in the market, I'll buy 3 different houses. I'll buy multiple properties in there, and I'll hire each of you, see which one does the better job. Like so I could hire multiple people to do that same job. So is that going to pay all of their bills each month? No, but it will help this 12-year-old kid whose parents are struggling. Oh, well, guess what? Now this kid has lunch money. Now this kid has a bunch of other stuff. And part of that having that much OMI is to do stuff like that, is to be able to go and say, oh, hey, you know what, kid, I see myself in you. Parents are overspending where, none of this is your fault. I'll help you out. And I guarantee you I'm not the only person like that. Guarantee you there's a lot of other people.
For sure.
Yep. And I think, though, the majority of the money is going to be, I don't know. I've never been surrounded by super, super successful people and things like that. So I don't know how they're hit during a recession. Do they take as big of a hit? Because if you're on here spending millions of dollars on collectibles, are you not prepared for something go wrong? Like, are you just going to liquidate everything? Like, I don't know if they're that YOLO in their money that hard to the point where if a recession hits, they have to take everything out. Because I think the majority of the value of the token and stuff is going to be held by these bigger people anyway. And then of course the smaller people, I think it's going to be based on volume. So smaller people are not going to have enough invested where it's going to be life-changing if you sell a $5 collectible. It's like most people, it's like the same $5 collectible but 10 million people with that $5 collectible. That's what's going to be making up all the success for Veve. It's not that everybody just has $10,000 that they can all just take out. I think it's going to be very few people, very few whales and stuff who has all just a ton of the make up a ton of the value of the entire project. I think the little people combined is going to be what has the value.
Rich people love recessions because everybody that is freaking out, like, oh no, it's going to go back up. What goes down will go back up at some point, unless you have like this horrible World War III alien war scenario. It's going to go back up. It historically always has. So rich people love it. They're like, oh, y'all going to sell your stuff at a $20 or 20% loss, lock in your profits. Rich people buy all the way down. And this is what what do you call it? Warren Buffett said the money doesn't go from the poor to the rich, although it does sometimes, but mostly, especially in the stock market, it goes from the impatient to the patient. So you're going to be able to have people that like, hey, I don't mind having my investment go down. I'm not going to lock in my losses. I'm going to dollar cost average, whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto or collectibles. They're going to go and do that, and they're just going to and they'll be the winners because they can ride the storm out for X amount of years until the next bull market, and then and that's the unfortunate scenario of having not that much money, because you just can't. Most people can't afford to do that.
Speaking of recessions and opportunities, I just want to take a moment because someone, going back to 100 people, private messaged me a day, and I feel obligated to get back to everyone. Someone reached out to me earlier, and I thought it was an interesting proposition. I don't know that I'm in the position to take this individual up on it, but there's 160 people in the chat, and maybe someone feels like they would like to. This person has about 30,000 gems on their account, and they're looking to get out to get OMI because they really want OMI. But like, obviously the MTL is not in yet, and it's a headache to sell and whatever. So they're basically saying that for like, they have the 30,000 gems. They will buy you 30,000 gems worth of whatever collectibles you want in the marketplace. Like, you name it, they'll buy it for you up to $30,000, and it'll cost you like 3.5 million OMI. They only want 3.5. And I've already talked to them, and I told them, and I was like, you're getting yourself ripped off. Like, you're fine with that. And they're like, we just really want OMI. And I was like, well, so it's not that they're really getting ripped off in the long term, because we know OMI's going to worth more. Sorry? No, they're not. No. I've verified this person. Like, I wouldn't bring it up in this context if I wasn't comfortable with that conversation. So, no, they've been collecting for a while now, and I mean, if anyone wants to take them up on it, you can. Like, obviously, you can message me on it. They sold a bunch of their collectibles, and they're looking for a way to get out.
I mean, actually, they're going to win with that deal, because I mean, at $10, they got 30 million.
Well, and that's it. And like, I don't know that anyone, and like, I hummed and hawed about it. And ironically, actually, I thought about it before we came on the stream, and I was like, I could get them, because originally when they messaged me, they're like, we can buy you the Marvel Comics #1 for 30,000. Like, that's where the conversation started.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but then it got bought while we were on stream, and now it's 40 grand. So it's not there anymore. And I'm like, you know what? Like for me, like, I have 14 million OMI, and like, I'm not in a position where I want to do like 3.5 million. Like, I don't want to give that up. Just based on the amount of OMI that I have, like, I'm not really at that, like, I'm kind of on the fence about it. But if someone else wants to, like, I'll throw it out. If someone wants to, they can reach out to me, and I can put you in contact with them directly. Just hit me up on Twitter at Foster Hilt, and then I can get you guys in contact, and you guys can figure that out or whatever. But yeah, I don't know that I'm in that position to do it, but I figured it's a good offer, and I have the platform, so I might as well pass it along to the community. And if you want to do it, you can do it. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. That's fine. So.
Yeah, no, agreed. And again, somebody asked me, or someone was asked before I was on a status or a post we were both tagged in, that they wanted to sell their vault for 1.1 million OMI. And I was like, okay, well, the vault's about 12K, give or take. And it is a good deal, but I wouldn't do it if, for 500,000 OMI, because OMI is just, in my opinion, just going to go so high. Like I would only do it if I could then sell that wall for like a 700,000 Omi, you know, give or take, which wouldn't be fair to that person. So yeah, that's what I think. And this is so I am very, very stubborn, and I understand Dan's thing. Like, most people on this app, I think, are working class people that have a 9 to 5, and they'll, let's say their expendable income, I think average is like 1,800 a month. But let's say it's not. Let's say they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they only put, you know, $10 or $20 in this app, and because that's all they could afford, they happen to get lucky. They get a rare ultra rare comic or whatever. They get a couple $100, and okay, something goes wrong with their car. Oh, can't do it, and they need to do that, and they need to cash out. So I understand that, but what Dan's saying is like, and thank God, you know, or not thank God, just I'm currently not married, but if I had a wife that was wrong, and she said, hey, sell these collectibles, give me that ultimatum, or I'm getting divorced, where I know those collectibles are going to moon at some point again, I'm like, okay, well, it's you know, you're the one leaving me. And I get that not everybody's like that. And you know, most people that they can if they can find someone to wed them, they don't want to let that go. Am I wrong there? And I was like, Chavez, you're just being stupid. You're just because I know sometimes I am.
It's cheaper to be single. So I mean, she's doing you a favor technically. So
hey man, I gotta split 50% of all the profit I make with my wife. So I'm already 50% poorer than I would be.
Okay.
So
but no, I mean, somebody who loves you shouldn't be giving you an ultimatum like that. You should be able to talk through it and understand each other and really come to the conclusion together that's best for both of you, to be honest. So if you can't have that conversation, there's a deeper problem than just this situation in the first place.
I hear that. Man, honestly, man, like the fact that I'll never say this to her face because then she'll hold it over my head, but like the amount of support that my wife has shown me in all of this is just absolutely, it's crazy, man. Like the amount of money that we put in, obviously it's our money, right? Like collectively, and the amount of money that she supported me putting in off of watching some Cavell Anderson videos is like, yo, he's convincing. What can I say? And I had so much conviction in the project, and just, you know, it started with a little bit, and then it moved up to a little bit more, and then it turned into, you know, quite a bit. And you know, we were down quite a bit, man. Like we, you know, when, you know, in July or whatever, when we were at like 0.0014 that one day, like we were down like 80%. You know what I mean? Like we were down like, you know, $50,000-$60,000. And like, you want to talk about having like conviction and like faith and whatever. And like, you know, never told me to pull out, never lost faith in me. She's like, if it's our money, but if you believe in it, I believe in you. And it's just like, it means the world to me, man. Like, honestly, like to both of you, like it just means the absolute world that she was as supportive as she was. And yeah, I'm just really fortunate that we're on the same page about a lot of things. And, you know, we both kind of came to the wrong conclusion about the Spider-Man. We were at a point that was around the same point where she was like, you're not putting any more money in Veve. Like, even though we were down, she's like, I don't want you to sell, but you're not putting any more money in. And then obviously sold the Spider-Man for far less than what it was worth. But, you know, overall, it's been great to be able to get the support from her. And, yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna be a big reward there when the project really takes off. You know, gonna have to get her a nice present or something for believing in me. So
good. I don't know if she likes shoes or anything or jewelry, whatnot.
No, we're gonna have to buy her a car or something, man. She's always wanted a Jeep, so I'm gonna have to buy her a Jeep Wrangler. I think she always wanted one of those. So maybe once Omi hits $1, I'll get it done there.
Omi just tweeted something. Looks dope.
Oh,
yeah, it looks dope.
That does look legit.
Yo, that's fire.
So somebody brought it up here. Everyone will sell in a bear market and buy Omi. I think a lot of people that are in here that are chasing these meme coins, like these dog coins, that will go and say, okay, I got burnt, and now maybe they mature and they want to go into a better, more stable project. Again, I'm not saying that OMI is bear market proof. It'll obviously dip with everyone else, but I think it'll recover a lot faster because of that reason. Like, do you guys know anybody that? My friend Dan, he had a bunch of Shiba Inu, sold a third of it and bought more OMI because he's like, it moons, and a lot of people they'll take profit. Or even if they don't, like, all right, never again. I'll take what little I have and I'll move it into something more stable.
Well, here's what I will say. I sold Shiba and made like $1,000. And then 5 weeks after I sold it, it did that whole run up, and I would have made like 12 grand. So, I mean, me and timing the market never goes super well hand in hand. But I don't know. Like, I think if we start to enter a bear market with OMI, I think I could be persuaded to sell some OMI and then buy back in at a lower price, but it would have to be like very obvious, and I'd have to be very much in profit that, like, even if it didn't go back down, it wouldn't be like, damn, I really messed this one up. You know what I mean? So like, if we really are going to see an 80% correction, I mean, I would try and maybe time it. I probably wouldn't sell my whole bag. I'd probably sell like a percentage of it and then buy, but I would be selling it to buy back in at a lower amount to get more. But what I would probably do is try and buy back the same amount that I had previously, and then take the profit that's offset between the amount that I sold it for and the amount that it was worth, and then go from there. I think probably. So like, I have 14 million right now, right? Like let's say I sold 4 million to get down to 10 million, and then the price was down 80%. I would buy back that 4 million OMI, and with the extra, whatever I made off of that 4 million OMI, I would use that as like a take profit, but I'd still be at 14 million OMI, I think.
And you guys, and you said you have 14 now?
I have 14 right now. Yeah.
So I have this theory that maybe if they've said this in Earth 2, but I think this will be similar in VV. They said in Earth 2, if you're rich in Earth 2, you won't be poor in Earth 1. When we were talking about PAGs renting out as collectibles before, Foster, you made the point of, hey, there's only so many people on the app, not even 1 million, and there's already not enough collectibles. When we 10x the amount of people on here, what is something that you don't have that you would like to rent out, like to ride on like a horse race? Like, I would totally rent out a Donnie because I don't have them. What's something that you guys want to rent out that you don't have? Like, not buy, but you'd rent out for like an afternoon. Like, yeah, I'd spend $20 on this.
It would really depend on the utility of the collectible. Yeah. I think what it would boil down to, like right now, I don't think that there's any one collectible that like I wouldn't, like, as an example, like I wouldn't rent out a Donnie so that I could be like, hey guys, look, I have a Donnie. Like, because like I don't have a Donnie, I'm renting it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if there was a reason to rent it out, because I could like participate in like a race, like a horse race at a horse track or something. Yeah. Then like, yeah, that'd be sick. I'd rent it out for that use case. But like, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's any collectible right now that I would rent out that I don't already own. It would have to be for a utility case, yeah. But let's pretend they all had utility. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of all the collectibles and what cool utility they could have.
Oh, yes. At Decon, one of my live streams, somebody asked Taps if he had if he had an NFT made of him, what would he like? He's like, just picture of like me and like, like a spear. And someone was like, when drivable Taps with spear. If they had some joke NFTs like that, I'd totally do it. Like if they had like joke NFTs of like Condoleezza Rice, like politicians from the 90s, I'd totally do that. That'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. Yeah. I'm actually trying to think. Like, I'm lost in thought now. Like what collectible would I want to rent?
So, what do you guys think would go first? Would it be, hey, I'm going to get rid of my Netflix first to save money, or would I get rid of my VeVeverse subscription to save money?
How much money does your Netflix subscription make you a month?
It's I guess about $9 a month.
But how much does it make you?
Oh, I don't think anything.
So you lose $9 a month.
Yes.
So if you invest $7 in VV, how much money could it make you?
Wait, for the subscriptions, for like if they say, oh, if you get this.
No. So he's saying a single VV drop is $7. So let's say you go for a comic book drop, right? So
Yeah, that could
you
make
can
you
only
alive.
afford to go for one drop a month, or you use your Netflix. So now your Netflix costs you $9 a month. Okay. You can't afford that if you get your $7 drop. You get that $7 drop and you get a rare comic book. How much money do you make?
That's true. You can make like $100.
Make $100. So then you sell that comic for $100, and now you've paid your Netflix for the next 6 months, and now you can go for the next 4 VV drops as well.
Yeah, I was saying though that if they, not that they wouldn't, they would keep doing that because that's, you know, like basically winning a lottery ticket every time. But I'm saying the idea of getting, if when they had that subscription for the VeVeverse, saying like, oh, get this subscription for, you know, $8-10 a month, and then you get like 1.5 times the points in the Master Collector program. Which one do you think that?
It depends on how far, like if they improve upon it and add more utility and more things that makes it better. Because I think that all of this, all of the stuff that they offer is going to improve. We're going to see more. We're going to see more being offered for the prices. I feel like, yeah, they're testing things right now. They're just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks, seeing how the community responds. But if it makes sense to add more things, I think that we could see more things added. So. Especially when the VeVeverse comes, it wouldn't make sense to keep this same old subscription for just these limited amount of things when we have a whole metaverse with new things that we could do. So I'm assuming that once the metaverse comes out, the subscription is going to expand into more features that gives you benefits in that metaverse that will probably be generating you even more money.
That's a good point. That's a good call. We don't deserve Foster. He's way too smart. That Foster, we don't deserve you.
You guys deserve me. It's okay. I'm just happy to be a part of the conversation.
Subscriptions shouldn't be about money, making money. It should be about being entertained or offering more products. I mean, VV just so happens to have a subscription that can do both.
Yeah.
Is that a problem? Like, if Netflix paid you to watch it, would you be mad now?
If they paid us to watch it, you said?
Yeah, like if Netflix started paying you to watch Netflix,
yeah,
would you be mad? Like, you would be pissed at that, huh?
Well, and that's why I tell people, you do have to do a little bit of research, but really, like comic drops, if you can land them, they're a $7 lottery that you pay your lottery ticket off with automatically. So it's free because you either get like an $8 comic, you sell it and you get back what you paid for it, or you still have a chance at getting something that's worth a lot more than that, right? Like you don't get that anywhere else. Like this isn't a 50-50 draw where like you put in money hoping to make money. It's like if you get a drop, you're not guaranteed, but you're almost guaranteed to be able to make money. Like, where do you get that anywhere else? You don't.
That's a good point. What gang are you most likely to join? Gorilla Gang, Professor Utonium Gang? I want to ape into this Gorilla Gang, no pun intended. When Omi Moon's next year, because it seems awesome. Like they got a nice cult following already. It's been out like a week. Which gang do you guys want to go in? Be like, secret club.
I mean, what's the benefits?
I guess the HTC, you know, the Holy Trinity 3, those ones, because you get to be around, you know, Dan Schalbo, Peter Shankman, Jeremiah Aoyang, and me, you know, a lot on that Discord group. But you know, so it's, I guess that, but I'm already in that, so I don't want to. You know.
I mean, if you're there, then that's the one I'll go with.
Would you guys ever make like a squad of your own? I mean, I guess Cavell, you already have it. The people that are in that, but be like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick the Tropicanas, and everyone's got a Tropicana is gonna be in this group. 5,000 max.
So I've had a couple people, and when I say a couple, I mean actually like a few people have reached out to me and been like, "Hey, you need to make a Walt group," and I thought that was interesting. I don't know that I'm the person to make a group, right? Like I'm not a supreme leader or anything. Like that's fine. Like if you think a group should be made, like I'd obviously be interested in being a part of it. But like I don't know that I'm the figurehead of that group. But I thought it was interesting. So I would argue that outside of Donnie and Secret Rare Spider-Man, I'm not including comics, by the way. I'm just talking about collectibles. outside of Donnie and Secret Rare Spider-Man, the Walt is probably the most valuable collectible on the app right now, and will continue to hold some of the highest value. So I could definitely see merit in doing that group just as a community, right? Because similar to, you know, the Bored Ape Yacht Club and things like that, like if you own a Walt, I mean, chances are you're doing all right for yourself. And I could see there being like exclusive member benefits or something like that you could put together, or get-togethers or something. Because when you consider the fact that there's a maximum of 4,233 people that would ever own that collectible, and I know several people that own multiple, I would say the number's closer to, you know, 2,500 max of individual people that could own it. So I think if you could really create like a niche community, and not so much, and to be clear, not to manipulate price or anything like that, but to create a community of value associated with the collectible, I think that there would be merit in creating a group like that to really encourage people like, hey man, hold, like similar to how the Marvel Comics #1 Secret Rare has a group or whatever, and everyone's just encouraging each other to hold. Like, I think that it would be cool to do something like that maybe for that collectible. The mint editions might be a little high, but even then, I think you could probably swing it and really create a. I mean, Bored Ape Yacht Club has 10,000, right? So I mean, if you could have 10,000 people, I don't see why you couldn't have 4,200. So that's my thoughts.
I feel you on that. Do you guys want gamification, or do you want Pokemon? Which one do you guys want more?
Pokemon. Pokemon.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like just having Pokemon would be just massive, and it'll be so exciting because the amount of Pokemon that there is, like just trying to acquire them all, gamification will be here by the time somebody's finally getting them all.
That's a good point. I would, like I said, I'm aping into that, and I don't necessarily want it because they'll moon, although I think they will. I just want. I don't know if you guys ever played the game Pikmin, where you go and you can. You get a bunch of these little like dudes with leaves on their head. They follow you like they're your little minions. I want to be able to, if they allow you to do this, I don't know if the servers will be able to handle it. I want to be able to roll into a town with like 30 Pikachus at my side and just causing power outages and stuff. I want to be able to go like, fire, Squirtle squad, go, boom. I just want to be able to do something, have something ridiculous. Like, Remember the Titans. They're putting, or that wasn't Remember the Titans. It was Gridiron Gang. Like, oh, they're sending out 8 guys for a coin flip. But what are they trying to do? It's intimidation. So they send the whole squad out for the coin toss. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that with Pokemon. Bunch of Charmeleons and Executors and stuff. Just yeah, I know it makes me sound so stupid, but that's just what I want. Not because of any particular data point of me wanting it to moon. I just want to have an army of like Charmanders and Bulbasaurs. That's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome, man. I'm just sorry. I'm distracted because I'm looking at the
that the Superman.
No, I'm looking at coin. I own 2 Superman for the record. And I got one on drop, and I bought another one for $140. I should have bought 10 of them. I was an idiot, but hey, you live, you learn. Why do you think Omi's up 13% on the day?
So
I really want to know, and I'm starting to get vibes. And they're from vibes of no one other than myself. So they're like self vibes. I'm self vibing it. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at CoinGecko and I'm looking at the coin. What is going to be discussed tomorrow at 11 with David Yu and CoinGecko?
But that's just the NFTs that he's talking about.
But like, why is he talking to CoinGecko about it?
Maybe they're launching their own NFT thing similar to Coinbase. But I think part of the reason is Patsy Weber had said before that it's going to, like, Disney is causing waves in the NFT and crypto market space, even if they don't see it yet. Like, let's say on the East Coast, they started a earthquake in Europe, and we haven't caught the wave yet. We've caught ripples of waves, but that tidal wave's coming in, and it takes people a couple of days to set up that Bit4X. And if they can't go put their credit card in or whatever, and they have to, it's their first time in crypto, it's their first time doing it with this, and they don't have that established relationship with Coinbase like I do, and it lets them send 100 grand at a time. They put Bitcoin into, they buy Bitcoin, they buy 15,000 of it. It only lets them send 1,000 of it at a time. They got to wait another week to send 10,000. The wave's coming, and that's why he thinks it'll be 0.009 by Friday. So that's why I think we're up 13%, and this is just the beginning. Although we did have that one this one whale that put in an order of 56 million only before. That's one person. That's one order. Now, could you make the argument it's a conglomerate of people saying like, yeah, so I'll put it into this one account? Maybe, but probably not.
Yeah, but is that just a whale that's sold at like 7.4 that is buying back in, or is it like?
I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, I mean, the one guy, JP, he said on my stream the other day he had up to 390. He sold 60 million of it the other day. That was a big sell wall that dropped us down to this. Could that be him buying in? I don't know. I mean,
is he going over to Illuvium? Did he end up saying why he sold? I missed that.
No, I told him to contact me to get him on the podcast, but he says he's selling everything like he did, back in like June or whatever, whenever he decided to sell. And then he's going to come back. Now he's just selling everything to go into. He says he thinks there's better projects out there. I don't see it. I think Illuvium's great. I think, between the staking, that liquidity pool, which you get like 40% APY, and the fact that it's going to be a really cool game. Sure. I think Omi's going to moon a heck of a lot higher, but he made money like that once before, and I think he thinks he can do it again. And maybe he does make money, but I don't think it's as much as he would get if he hodled Omi, because now we're on the precipice at that breaking point, breaking on through to the other side, getting exchanges. So that's my opinion.
I think it's and I mean, obviously, I wish him all the best. I know he's been a big part of the community. I always think it's unfortunate when people kind of lose their conviction a little bit in the project. It makes me sad because I know he understood the project and things like that, but it's tough to see because I feel like we all know like the catalysts that are coming of what's about to happen with the token. And I'm not a salesperson, right? Like if you don't want to invest your money in something, don't invest your money in it. It's your money. But it's it hurts me to see people leave so close to the catalyst because I know that they're going to be kicking themselves once it comes, and it just you feel bad. Like similar to if I had told you guys, hey, I'm selling my Spider-Man, and you were like, I don't know, and I still did it when you guys knew, you know what I mean? Like you knew, and like deep down I knew, but I was an idiot. So it's like stuff like that. Like I don't know. Do you guys struggle with that at all? Like if anyone ever, because I mean, I'm never going to go out of my way to convince you to stay in the project. Like if you don't think it's a good project, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not here to hold your hand, but I just like you waited this long. We literally have every catalyst known to man coming in the next month or so. It's like why now? Like, I don't know.
I just think that if people really understood where this project was going and what type of gains and returns that we can see, like if people could wrap their head around where the $10 price prediction comes from and where the entire world is going to be moving to and the role that Veve can play in that and Ecomi can play in that, I think if people actually understood that, they wouldn't make the same choices. But instead of taking the time to really educate yourself on NFTs, you want to chase bull runs and chase all this irrelevant stuff that, I mean, take all these gambles and take all these chances. I mean, if you want to gamble, if you would rather gamble, that's fine. But it's just as easy to do research, dig into the NFT space, see what the total market cap of the entire NFT space is going to be in 5 years, see what it's going to be in 10 years, and really understand the position that Veve has in this, or Ecomi has in it, and where do you think the max will be? A lot of people will be able to make more sense of it if they didn't have dumb arguments like, oh, well, if I that this will put it past Bitcoin and this will put it past Ethereum. Like if people didn't give these weak arguments and actually just did the research, it was, I think people would make less decisions. So honestly, I don't ever really feel bad when people make the decision. I'm at like when I first came into the community, maybe, but now it's just like, I guess we gonna see. Like I just wait and let people figure it out for themselves. Because I mean, I've got 500 videos. If you still don't know what's going on, that's your fault. So.
That's a good point. And I was in on the Veve Voices with Wendy the other day at DesignerCon, and the girl next to me, Sparky, she was like, "Okay, get out." Like there was, she asked that same question. there was no hesitation. She's just like, I ain't got time for you. Get out. For me, it depends who it is. If it's somebody that I don't know, I'd be like, listen, I don't want to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. But like my friend Mark, he's getting a lot of money from his job for a he partnered with he's a veterinarian. He partnered with a company, and he's getting a lot of money. And he's like, hey man, I'm thinking about buying another boat. I was like, Mark, if you take this money and you don't invest it into Omi and you buy another boat, I'm gonna kick your own ass on your boat. And like, it's just, I'm never gonna talk to you again. And he's just like, okay, well, what about if I just put in the order and I don't actually pay for it until like April when Red? And I was like, as long as you buy Omi now, that's fine. Like, that's fine. Because I love him. He's one of my best friends. He gave me a place to stay after I got out of the military, and this will be life-changing money if he puts in. He's got a couple million Omi, but if he puts in like 30 grand, it's like, okay, then he's gonna really make a lot and quickly. So it depends who it is, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's true too. That's true for me. If it's somebody closer to me, I would care more for sure. But in my experience, it's even harder to convince people closest. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I would do. I mean, I don't have a vested interest if people I don't know stay in, but I have vested interest if my friends stay in. So that's Omi Chow says Foster for the win. Yo, Foster got mad fans over here. He's got like both ends of the spectrum. People that just love him, saying he needs to be protected. People that rag on him for the Secret Spider-Man. There's no in between.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And yeah, so I did sell one of my homers before instead of my skateboard. I feel like I keep that set, and I got the Avengers logo, so I completed that one. So I felt like that was okay. Yeah, if they did Pokemon, it'd be Disney 2.0. That'd be insane. But outside of that, I guess a lot of coins are up on the day as well.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. So which honestly I don't even check anymore. I don't even, because I just I'm at the point where like it'll go up eventually. I don't really need to check it, like unless something crazy happens. Which again, like we had the infrastructure bill passed and people were freaking out about that. So Bitcoin went down to from like 69 to 59. I don't even know what it's at right now. Let's take a look, see at the Cash App. Oh, it's back up to 60, but it dumped so hard, and Omi kind of stayed a little stable. It was already in the sixes, went a little lower, but I like that we're not really attached to Bitcoin as much.
I love that. Like there's a couple people that tweet out like I think we've been over 0.005 for like over 2 months now. Like every single day we've closed above 0.005, and we've been above 0.006. Like we touched at one point, I think last week, into like lower or whatever, but like we've been in like the sixes as well for like pretty much over a month as well. And then there was a time a week or so ago that we were trending in the sevens for a week or two. Like for me, I'm fortunate, like I'm above my dollar cost average right now. So like any day that I wake up and Omi is more than what I bought it for, it's like, it's a good day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there'll be a day when that won't be even remotely a concern, when Omi is several pennies. But like right now, when I wake up and Omi is anything above the, the 0.5s, which is what my DCA is, it's a good day.
Yeah. So then asking, why didn't a comic come out today? Well, they did it for a couple of reasons. One, because Hitmonkey actually does the show, comes out today on Hulu, and I can't wait for that. I ranted about this for 2 hours yesterday. But Deadpool and Spider-Man, there's a decent chance there's a very good chance that they show up in that show. Maybe not this season, but next one. Because they have really intertwined storylines. There's a good chance that Old Man Logan or Logan in general goes there. Maria Hill, a lot of people, because again, Hulu is owned by Disney, has majority share in Hulu. So then they wanted to do that, and then also because tomorrow they got David Hughes speaking at the same time a drop would be. I guarantee you we get minimum 2 articles tomorrow. We get that Medium article for the comic drop on Friday, and then we get the I guess not the Medium article for the drop on Saturday, but just at least an update for that, and then hopefully Omi Utility. So I think that'd be great. Silver Club. But so Cavell, are you going to the AMA? Are you going to record that?
Yeah, I'll probably record it.
Nice.
I don't even bother. I'm like, yeah, Cavell's got it. It's good. It's good.
Cavell's
Like,
the hero we need.
well, it's like, but we don't need and that's what I love about this community, honestly, man. Like the content creators, like I feel like everyone's kind of got like their own niche, and like everyone really works well together, like doesn't step on anyone's toes. Like I'm not gonna go out of my, like, why am I gonna record, like Cavell's already doing it. Like, why am I going to do it? Right. Like there's just no point. Like, why are we going to compete? Like Cavell does that, I can focus on something. Like, it's just, it just makes so much more sense. And I think it's great that everyone's like supports one another and stuff. So,
you got,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I got to follow because Andre, awesome. How much did your subscribership jump up? Because you have over 3,000 subscribers now, right?
I went up a couple. I went from 1,600 subscribers when the video came out, and I think I went to bed that night, and then I woke up the next morning, and I think I was at like 2,200 or something. Like I went up like 600 subs.
Oh, so when you're thinking, your face is priceless. You're like, it's so good.
But yeah, so it was awesome. Like, yeah, my I'm almost at 3,900 now. So I've gone up from, and I mean, I don't like to think that it's just because of the video. I'd like to think that, I put out some decent content as well from time to time, but I've gone from about 1,600 to 3,900 in like 2 weeks, which, like I said, like my channel is over doubled in the last 2 weeks. So for me, it's very overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. Like I didn't know what to do when I had 1,600 people. So now I got, almost 3 times that, and it's like, oh God, what do I do now? Like, what am I putting out enough? Like I put out back-to-back videos, like videos 2 days in a row, which was like huge for me. I know Cavell does that in an hour, but it like for me, it was like to put out back-to-back videos. Like there was a lot of outtakes and a lot of stress, and I wanted it to be, perfect and make sure that I'm getting everyone the info that they're finding valuable to help out the community. And I try and do my best to direct people to other people in the community in my videos if I think it's warranted. Like, hey, check out this person for this or this person for that. I think Cavell did a great job of that. Shouting out some other content creators a couple months ago and giving them an opportunity. And then obviously you, Randy, letting me come on your podcast, which was, I think, fantastic. And can I call it a podcast? Come on the YouTube channel, but more in a podcast format.
Yeah, these ones that I do, they're podcasts. They're,
so it's just nice. And I love being a part of them and talking and interacting with the community. So I consider it an honor every single time I get a message from someone. And I will be doing voices of Veve with Wendy.
Nice.
So expect that to come out. I want to say it's next Sunday. I think it's the 28th. Cool. And I think we're going to have a couple whales and some other people on it as well. So that's going to be cool. And it's just cool to be, interacting with different people in the community that have different expertise and linking up with, people that know more about, the comics and the collectible side. And it's amazing. Everyone has such a unique perspective and something to bring to the table. And it's cool. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, that's I love that. I love special moments that are caught on film too. When I was on Wendy's podcast, she got 1,000 subscribers on that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when she was on mine, I got 5,000 subscribers. I was like, yes. So that was awesome. Really cool.
That's awesome, man.
What have you guys gotten on film? Like some of my other special moments were when I think the Catwoman sold out, and like I think the other one, Batgirl, sold out, and then something else sold out. What have you guys caught on film? It's like, oh, this is excellent.
I was about to say, you asked the question and I was like, oh, I filmed my daughter walking for the first time a few months ago. And then you're like, oh yeah, I got the Catwoman. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, that works too.
Me not much. I say lucky. And that was a great moment because I had no idea drop was happening. The stream told me, yo, open up the app. It's 5 minutes. It's coming. And I'm like, what's going on right now? And I ended up getting it live on stream, and I wouldn't have known about it if the stream didn't let me know. So I think that's the most memorable for me.
Yeah. I got to actually give you credit, Cavell, because I was watching your stream that morning. I was laying in bed watching your stream. And then one of your chat announced it and you said it. And I was like, oh crap. And I ran downstairs and told my wife about it. And we both tried it. And I was lucky enough to get it. So I guess I owe you a beer or something whenever we meet up at the thing. Cause you made me a couple bucks on that one for pointing that out to me as well. So I don't know. Like I don't like all of my videos are pre-recorded, right? Like even some of the streams that I do, I mean, it's not usually, I'm not normally watching like price or like actively going for collectibles. It's just kind of like an AMA chatting or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the best is yet to come, and I'll leave it kind of open ended, and we'll see if I can catch a pretty awesome moment at some point for something like that. I think some of the best moments for me are like seeing successes of other people in the community. So like, you know, we'll be in a live and someone will be like, hey, I picked this up, or hey, I sold this, and like someone earlier in the stream, like 2 hours ago, was like, hey, I picked up, and I don't remember what collectible it was now, but he's like, I sold it for this. And like, that's like 4 months worth of work for me. And I remember thinking, cause he only sold it for like, it was like $1,200 or something. So like wherever he lives, obviously like $1,200 is a lot of money. And like, so to me, that was awesome. And that like resonated with me. Right. I was like, oh, that's fantastic that people are making life-changing amounts of money with Veve. And I think that's the coolest thing about the project, right? Is like, this is literally changing people's lives directly in front of our eyes. And like, because we're so immersed in it, we don't necessarily see it on a day-to-day basis, right? Because like we never get away from it. But then we hear other people's stories that are like new to the project, or you know, had a big moment for them. And like for me, I feed off of that kind of stuff. So like it's cool. I think it's great. So
cool. Did you go over what you had the thing with the film and the derping here? Like did you have a what's that what was that movie with the funny guy, Jewish guy, curly hair, like the next Adam Sandler, like he was what's his name? Seth Rogen. So it was Seth Rogen, and nobody was helping me out there. You guys, anyway, I didn't know. Horrible charade.
Yeah, I had no idea what you were going for.
So it's him and James Franco, and they're like actors, and they're hired to like assassinate the president of North Korea, but like the first scene of the movie, Eminem comes out as gay, and he's like, "This is the greatest moment in gay history ever." Have you guys had something on that? I know Foster just said that. Cavell, did you have anything like that?
I never had. I've never had nothing like that. Nah.
All right. Simpsons. I sold Homer for $8.88, and now he's at like $9.70. He's like, shouldn't have done it. Can you make a table dance, please? I don't know what that means.
Randy, can you make a table dance? I don't. Because people were calling you a pole dancer earlier, so maybe they're.
Oh, okay. I missed those comments. Okay, yeah. I did. I don't even know if I have any.
I actually thought about doing that. Like, I wasn't even thinking about making a Patreon. I was thinking about making an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But for Omi content. So, like, you join my OnlyFans, and I help you out with Omi content. But that way, when your spouse or significant other sees a bill for OnlyFans on your credit card statement, you can be like, no, babe, it's fine. I'm subscribed to Foster Hilt. And then you pull me up, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, he talks about Omi content and stuff. But then, you know, if there's any other content you want to check out on the side, you can do that too.
Yeah, I used to back in the day. So
is that a chair? What is that? I'm trying to make that. What is that?
That's a pole.
Oh, that's you want to pull? Oh my god! Okay, now I'm seeing it.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. So, can I expect you to pole dance at the $1 party?
If I'm in shape, sure.
All right.
I'll do it if I'm in shape. But I told the designer con group, or that if I go into Vegas, like, listen, if I can get in shape, I'll be Bane. If I can't get in shape, I'll just be a fat Deadpool. Like, I'll do one or the other.
I think I'll go as dad bod Batman.
Okay.
Dad bod Batman, because I'm a dad and I have a dad bod, so it's like it's perfect.
If we have dad bods, then we might as well just go as like Jango Fett from the Mandalorian series.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that.
You think that'd be a good look? Yeah.
Huh?
Cavell, do you cosplay?
Nah, I've never done it.
Oh, it'd be really cool if you did. So I could steal Owen Wilson's line there. I have to. I'm probably going to wrap this up. Anything else? Final closing thoughts? Anything y'all want to go over?
No, I mean, I'd be willing to give it a try, though. I mean, I'm fully immersed in the collectors and VVCon community and stuff. I mean, I'll be doing some interesting stuff. So I'm gonna have to get on my caps trades time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just excited to meet everyone. I think it's gonna be fun once you start to get to meet people in person. And I think, like I said, it feels like a lifetime when you're living in the moment, but like 6 months or a year from now, when all these catalysts that we have been waiting on are finally here, it's going to be like, oh, it was so obvious they were coming all along. And I think I'm kind of just like I'm finally at a point where I'm like complacent. Like I'm good with where we're at, and I'm not worried about, really anything right now. I'm like, I understand what's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of excited for what the next week's going to hold. I'm really, banking on this AMA on Friday, having some OMI utility program article information about it. So I'm expecting to see some of that. Will it actually come out? Your guess is as good as mine, but I have a funny feeling. We're going to get like, they wouldn't have made such a big deal about, hey, we're full steam ahead after, decon. Hey, the article is completely written. We just need to hit public. Like, you wouldn't say that because you're creating an expectation, right? Like you're actively creating it, and they know better now. They've done that before, and it's burned them too many times. So you're not going to say that unless you're like 99.99999% sure that you're going to be releasing it. So I see that, we already got the app upgrade. We'll see what comes out of this. Maybe it's just a conversation tomorrow. Maybe there's an announcement from David Yu tomorrow about something. I'm excited to check that out. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a good AMA.
He
leaks it,
dude. If they have something on there, if that's where he announces Pokemon, I will. I don't even know.
That's gonna be sick.
I'll film myself running up and down my box screaming like, "We did it! We got Pokemon!" Where do you get tickets for that, Foster? Can you send me the link?
For the event tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I'll have to look into it. I just know it's because Comey tweeted it out. So I just
you need to get
tickets or
it's not like it's just like $50. It's
Foster's like, what?
It's like what? That's what I don't know. That's why I was kind of thinking, should I stream this? Is this pirating? Like, I don't know. I guess if I just get David Yu.
One of their things said 80% off, so I think hopefully we can get it.
$50 is 80% off.
No, I think it was 50, and now you can probably get it for 10 because it's so close to the event. They just want to sell the tickets. Yeah.
I think it was like community.coingecko.com or something like that, or it was something.coingecko.com.
All right, I'll take a look into it. I'll try to take a look into it.
I don't know if it's a paid event. I don't know that it's something you'd be able to stream regardless, just because even if you pay for it, you don't have the rights to reproduce it necessarily, right? So, okay, I'll look into that. Maybe
I don't know if I'll stream it. Maybe I'll just drop some videos on.
You do that. You ever seen that, like the big UFC fights where like people will be watching it and like Cavell's wearing glasses and they'll watch it through the guy's reflection on the glasses and then it's like, Anyways,
I could totally see that.
Great 4-hour chat again, guys.
That was good. Des from Brooklyn. I am gonna ape into that next year when OMI goes up. But yeah, that gem squeeze for Pokemon would be ridiculous. That would be. I'd be curious to see what people sell their stuff for.
Yeah. It's gonna be nuts. I guess the next one is due on Cavell's channel. The next time we do this is due on Cavell's channel.
I'm in. I'm game.
I think the last one we did on Mind, and now I think it's cool, man. I think some people have reached out. They'd be like, "Hey, you should make this like a semi-regular thing." And like, I love doing this every couple weeks. It's like, it's kind of like, it's not an AMA, obviously, but it's just like, hey, whatever's on the community's mind, we can just have a chat and a conversation about when we can all line up some time together. And I think it's good to catch up with whatever everyone's been up to and stuff. So it's
Cavell, what's a good date for it to be on your podcast stream?
We can do we can do it like anytime within like 2 weeks from now. You all want to set something up?
Yeah, so it's like the end of November kind of thing.
December 1st, or do you want to do November 30th? Whatever y'all.
30th or the 1st, whichever one works for you.
Well, Foster, do you know your schedule? I'm free.
I feel like I work days that day. Is it a Tuesday?
It's a Wednesday. It's a Tuesday the 30th and a Wednesday the 1st.
Yeah, I think I'm on days that rotation, so it should be good.
Okay. All right.
I think the Wednesday would probably work better because I'll be
Okay,
off Wednesday, Thursday. So I can because on my day rotation, I'm up at like 4:45 in the morning. So if we end up going late that day, I might be a little zombified there. But if we do the Wednesday, then I'll have been able to sleep in a little bit that morning, and we'll yeah.
All right, coolio. So we'll do that. Everyone, I love you all. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. And then check out Star Helix, Kyle Wilson, and Veve Vault on YouTube, and at Not Star Helix and at Hey David Don on the Twitter. All right, gents, thank you all so much. I love you all. All right, goodbye. Meow.
Yeah, homies.
Ending.